Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here for the playoffs in Titan Esports Divinity League. The snow is starting to melt all around the country. We are technically in spring, but we still have to close out our winter season here for Titan Esports. I am Zemanon, joined by Daz, and Daz. It's always exciting when you make it to the postseason in any type of league.
Oh yeah, I mean postseason is where we really get to figure out, who is the best of the best when it comes down to some of these matchups and how everything's going to shake out. I mean, we're obviously going to have the big names take on some of the smaller names. That's usually how brackets work, and hopefully we'll get some good games out of it.
And so for tonight's broadcast, and all playoff games, or all playoff sets, I should say, are best of five. So this first best of five we're going to have for you tonight is Piltover's Finest Enforcers versus CB Rangers. So PF Enforcers, as I like to go by, PFE, they are 7-0. They're the only undefeated team in the regular season here in the Divinity League. And they're facing CB Rangers, Daz, who were 4-3 and just squeaked in as the final seed out of Group A.
Yeah, it was a tough run for CB Rangers, not being able to kind of keep that easy kind of run that Piltover's Finest Enforcers dropped. Some fantastic players on that roster as well for PFE. Hopefully, they're going to show up as well today if you're on the PFE side of things. But the CB Rangers, really have a strong side of their map. They are going to have something to play around, so shouldn't be a complete blowout. But we'll see exactly how it shakes out when we get into the games.
Yeah, so if we are ready for the draft, I know the players were getting excited to start game one underway because obviously we got a long night in the store for us, an exciting, dramatic night here in a best of five because will PF Enforcers show that they prove to be the number one team in the Divinity League, or will CB Rangers pull off the huge upset? So either way, Dots, it's going to be a storyline moving forward into the semifinals, regardless.
Yeah, I think either way we're gonna have another good game available to us tonight. It's gonna be a longer set, obviously 5 games, so there's room for the comeback, room for the fabled reverse sweep as well. We'll see exactly how these teams approach the matchup and how much damage they're able to do.
All right, so here we are at the draft here. Game one, PFE chose blue side for this matchup. We've actually seen this a lot in the Divinity League. I think most of the season teams, when they've had the opportunity to, will choose blue side because of that very strong blue one pick. You can potentially, if you have a big jungler or even an ADC that your AD carry player needs to get in that first priority slot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been gravitating towards blue, being able to get power picks for one of their carries and stuff like that. It just makes a lot of sense to me being able to take something away that maybe your opponent isn't able to answer at all. I mean, there's some people who just really do have such an advantage when it comes to how they want to go about these matches.
We have the Trundle and Ash ban so far for PFE. On the other side, the Aurelion Soul, and then they are deliberating going with the Udyr. We can talk about some of the players. Daz, we were doing some stat research on the Enforcers, which, as we said, the number one team in the league. And some of their players, Bivexual, the mid laner, actually top 10 in ranking in the entire Divinity League, as well as number one damage per minute in the entire Divinity League. So that could be an area to focus on for PFE.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like two sides of the map. You got PFE, who play through these really strong solo lanes with Espada and Bivexual, being able to put up some pretty consistent, pretty crazy numbers. But for the CB Rangers, you look at their bot lane, right? You look at Old Man Genetics, Peacemaker. They've been putting up some really good numbers when it comes down to that bot lane. So it really is about who fills in that gap the best and who's able to kind of really go off from there. But PFE, they're probably up against it a little bit when it comes down to that mid lane matchup. The bot lane matchup, so they may as well take away one of the strongest AD carries on the patch right now. I know it's one of your favorites, Joe. It's got to be Jinx, and I think after 15 minutes, as long as you built the correct items in the correct order, Jinx is an absolutely insane champion.
Yeah, that's the hardest struggle for most people right now, is to build items correctly there. But Vygar Zac is the response. That Vygar is obviously a flex, could be mid, could be ADC if you're watching the LCS, could be also could be support. But I really do like that Jinx pick there because Obviously, she's been buffed. She's been really good. And then the measurable, the 80 carry on PFE, 7th in the league, or has a 7 KDA, excuse me. So has a 7.0 KDA, incredibly high, and 7th in the Divinity League in CS per minute as well, out of all qualifying players. So it makes sense to take that in the blue one. And Sejuani is a nice, supportive, tank, gank-heavy jungler that can facilitate Jinx.
Yeah, it makes sense with the Zac as well, right? Like, you want a jungler that's also going to be able to go to lanes early and cause problems with that CC, so it certainly adds up for me. Seems like a good answer here. I think you probably want to take mid here, just to deal with the Veigar, right? And maybe give over the ADC here. But support works too. It had to be middle support for me. But, if you're CB Rangers now, I'd expect them to target down that mid lane a little bit more aggressively. Onto the CB Rangers' last pick here. They've got a jungler, just take a support or an AD carry. The 80 carry pool is getting pinched a little bit with the Ashe and Sivers, so maybe, looking on the side of the CB Rangers, of course, Old Man Genetics, has been kind of mixing things up a little bit on the 80 carry picks recently, so plenty of options, maybe something a little more deeper in the pocket, but yeah, the support has to be the Annie right now. Makes a lot of sense against the Taric. Taric wants to walk forward and hit you with the stun, so why not just stun right back as soon as you've cast 4 spells.
Yeah, Annie Sport has picked up in popularity over the last couple patches, ever since the big buffs, and then also just being used like crazy in the LCK for the last couple of weeks all around the world. Everyone really starting to appreciate the power that Annie can bring as a support. I feel like you can also see Annie with Jinx sometimes as well, so that could have been an option for PF Enforcers, but they are feeling comfortable on the Taric there. So now we are into the second part of the ban phase here. Still need a mid laner and a top laner, unless the Sejuani goes top for PFE, and then CB Ranger still has a little bit of flexibility, but you would assume once Annie got locked in that the Veigar is going mid.
Yeah, I mean, the Veigar just can't really be playing down there. I mean, Veigar does have a little bit of wiggle room as an AD carry, but I'm just not so CB Rangers are kitted out for that, right? I mean, you don't see it as traditionally, so it could be an option. Old Man Genetics has played it to some pretty decent success so far this season, so this could be just bot lanes and jungles all around, but the double AP bot lane doesn't quite vibe with me, if I'm completely honest. We can see the bans from Piltover's Finest Enforcers heading right towards the top lane, so getting rid of that Kled, getting rid of that Jax as well makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, on CB Rangers' side, just kind of taking away some of the other options for the potential mid lane, the Syndra and the Seraphine, which I haven't seen in quite some time, being snipped off there. So we are back into the pick phase.
4 bans being thrown in the way of Bivexual there in the mid lane, 2 in the first half, and then those last 2 as well, Seraphine and Syndra. So there's obviously a lot of focus on CB Ranger's side of trying to shut down the opposing mid laner. Jace actually locked in here for CB Rangers here. So what are you thinking about the Jace pick?
I like Jace. I think Jace is in a decent spot right now. The damage feels there. The kind of rebuttal feels there for an engage, but I don't like it blind. I think it's one of those things that can be really easily countered. I mean, yes, the Jax is gone, but yeah, Ken and Jace is going to be an interesting matchup. Lots of range, lots of damage, and very, very vulnerable to ganks as well. So maybe a focus coming in from the junglers early doors. Kennen doesn't exactly have an escape apart from a slight speed up, but then of course we've got to work through the potential Zac jumping on you, and then kind of the same way on the other side, right? It's like Jace can knock you away a little bit, but you're still going to get Sejuani with that flail. So a lot to go on with there. It is going to be a blind pick mid though for the Piltover's Finest Enforcers. Didn't see the pick, as that is not locked in.
Is this 4v5 right now? Is that what that's how confident PF Enforcers feels, and not even picking a mid laner? No, obviously they will get that fixed. We'll figure it out at some point. Not sure what's the communication between the two teams right now to let them know. I mean, Daz, we've done this before, right? Where it's Gangplank is the pick that's locked in. Okay, that is interesting to see. So it's not that little icon there. It is the Pirate King himself, GP, and then Mordekaiser picked in the last slot there. So a lot of exciting stuff happened. Those last 4 champions selected, pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think, this flex Jace to the mid lane is something that we're getting back to, right? Like, I remember when Jace was just a mid laner, so made a lot of sense. But, the Mordekaiser, I don't know if it's going to be a great matchup there. You know, it's like Cannon or Gangplank actually can bully the Mordekaiser from range. So not 100% sure on that one from CB Rangers, but if that's the kind of comfort pick that they want to go with, if that's where you want to see somebody like Kramer playing, does make sense. It is one of Kramer's potentially best picks, highest KDA over the course of ranked this season, so makes a good amount of sense. But overall, you know, I feel PFE have this like really nice blend of just like range and then engage as well. So, you know, the Sedge can go forward, the Turret can go forward, Turret can obviously protect you with the ultimate as well, but then Gangplank's going to lay the ultimate down, and then once that ultimate goes down, you've got Kennen coming over the top of it, and then the Jinx coming through with just rocket. So that seems really good. I think this, you know, kind of pick surprise comp from CB Rangers is just a little bit cleaner in like what they want to do. So it's definitely yeah, some of the tougher choices to make, and it really is going to be about execution here.
Yeah, I definitely think you are right, Daz, in the execution factor, because I like how CB Rangers was able to be flexible with their picks, and you know, we'll wrap this up quickly here as we get set up for the next spot. But for me, saving Vygar, what we thought initially could have been a mid laner or support, then the Annie shows up, you move it to mid. Okay, well now Vygar's bot, and you're conceding, you know, a slow lane for the bot lane there, and then Vygar, or excuse me, Jace and Mordekaiser too. Like, they saved Jace, we thought it was top. Now you could potentially flex it around. So these are the type of things that CB Rangers, since they are on paper the less strong team, let's say, than PFE, I think these are the type of things they need to do in a best of 5 to succeed.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how they want to play this one out. I think there's obviously a little bit to go through, but before we get into game, obviously we've got to get them into game, get them synced up as well with us here on the broadcast. Take a little look forward to what we have to look forward to here in the playoffs.
Titan Esports.
I'm Dawes.
Zemanon here.
We've seen some pretty incredible matches.
Winter playoffs are starting.
Now is where it matters.
Piltover's finest enforcers.
Let's fucking go.
Going to get Espada trying to get out of there, but has been caught, and they are going to fall down. But you see the teleport, and you see the teleport coming out. They're going to end the game this time. It's over. Vexual is going to end the game. Nobody is going to answer the corky, and Piltover's finest, they're on the job, and they take game 1.
Church does come together once a week, and the church here is going to be the church of Main Striker.
Merciful Crow can be the next target. No, they're going to turn their eyes on to Brother Hedge. Stage Striker, level 16, S-Bound 2. Stage Striker on what was a 2v5 is absolutely dominating. Chinese Spy, somehow canceling the ultimate. Aesthesia on the Glada in the 1v1, and Glada's going to get the better of
a dominant performance. Jungler singular bread, 61% kill participation, and big news, second highest damage per minute in the entire league. Team Ambition Crab Wrangler. There we go. Black Eyed Peas is going after him. He gets needed to see the rest of the team in the area. Sure, you kill Ezreal, but you keep up your life with Peacemakers for some of the remaining members on CB Rangers have to try for this.
With the best player in the league, Quickly Vibes, command most of those crazy KDAs, crazy skill
The ultimate used on Nami's end there. Spocky is going to try to hit, and the snowball actually lands onto Diana. Valley's able to QE out and then ult, but with the bailout, it's still not going to be enough. Rise getting yet another kill. Lucian flash forward for the kill. Jinx is down. That's two-handed over to Eclipsing Tides and the Cloud Dragon. It's time to start this best of 5 between Piltover's Finest Enforcers, the #1 team in the Divinity League, versus CB Rangers Dodge. This is David versus Goliath. As much as we can get 7-0 against a team that just squeaked into the playoffs.
Yeah, and the lane assignments are interesting, right? We've got the Gangplank Mordekaiser in the top and the Kennen Jace in the middle. So we basically have 2 top lanes at this point, which I kind of respect. It is, of course, the superior lane. Mid laners don't deserve to be acknowledged because they play silly champions for silly people. But that is by the by. I think the junglers are obviously huge on the top side of the map, and that's kind of where I find it interesting, right? Is like CB Rangers really rely on this bot lane, and they've kind of taken this like scaling approach. I do think there is a really nasty world where Jinx Taric is going to be able to catch out these 2 very frail bot laners. You know, Veigar not exactly mobile, Annie not exactly mobile, right? Like Annie can slow you down. Veigar can obviously cage you as well, but like if they break through that kind of wall that Annie and Veigar are going to put up, that is going to be a massive problem, and something that can dash through that wall would potentially set you on as well. So it feels like a really, really clean draft here for Piltover's Finest Enforcers. Team getting a little bit of push down, but everyone's kind of trading in the jungle side. Both junglers starting bot as well.
Yeah, and I think the ability to flex Kennen mid onto Bivexual is probably because they are one of the strongest players in the entire league. So they've had such a consistent season out of their mid laner that it's probably easier to flex that for their direction than instead of the other way around trying to put GP mid, which is a little more unconventional. So I think that actually the Kennen mid makes a lot more sense because you can just rely on Bivexual's raw gaming like power. I don't know how else to put it if you understand how I'm saying. Like they're such a strong player that they can probably make it work better than the other way around.
Yeah, I think being able to, flex around just makes a lot of sense, right? Is being able to cause those problems just off kind of pure skill is definitely an interesting one. I mean, the Mordekaiser doesn't fare so well into the Gangplank as well, so that could have been like a weird misstep from the side of, what's going on from that side of things. But yeah, it definitely feels like, I mean, Kramer as well is definitely very strong, and the thing with the Gangplank is like, yes, it should win, right? Because it can orange out of the Death Realm, or Brazil as it may be known over the course of this game. But yeah, this is a nasty trade in the bot lane.
Yes, it will absolutely be referred to as Brazil. Don't you worry, my friend. Anyway, Measurable actually gets pretty low there. Thought maybe they would have had a nice job trying to bring down Peacemaker, but just kind of gets punished for it in that spot. And even pushing this Veigar Annie bot lane under turret might not actually be the worst thing in the world for them because it keeps them safe from a potential Sejuani game.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they can farm well, I mean, the Veigar pretty decent at farming. Obviously, if you pair up nice with the Annie, you can get a little bit of extra damage down. But the lane's, largely going in the favor of CB Rangers in this one. I mean, the top lane and the mid lane both carving out those little advantages. Of course, we're going to start running around the map a little bit already, start getting those crabs. But it looks like we're going to be trading those crabs at 1-for-1. Was that? Is that what I think it was? Oh no, it was the Taric here. No, oh no, it was a summoner out of Taric there.
Yeah, that summoner is down for Jaquail there, so Taric is not going to be able to have that potentially if there is a gank in the bot lane. For now, they are going to be pushed back down into their turret, and Veigar stepping up a little bit, gets stunned there, but nothing too much. I wouldn't expect too much early on in these couple
this makes sense,
things. But here now we can get some action as Sejuani's in the area, forcing the flash out of Peacemaker, just get under the turret, tries to pit Kilroy back, but does not get the kill in response. And we have a gank from Black Eyed Peas on the Zac in the mid lane. Can Jason Zac do it onto the Ken? And the answer is no. Bivexual will be just okay.
Yeah, 2 failed ganks, 1 in the bot lane, 1 in the mid lane, so no real pressure coming through right there. And Esparda's done really well here. I mean, Esparda's done a really good job of just being able to farm up, kind of keep the wave exactly where it's needed, and of course, start playing around with the barrels. I will say there is a slight advantage getting carved out for the side of Measurable as well, so that's looking really good. And now, this Mordekaiser is still ahead, of course, on the CS, but I think, you know, it very quickly turns where the Gangplank does get a kind of nasty lead. And all of a sudden that poke from the Q, you know, those consistent Qs, as soon as the Sheen comes through, which has just been picked up by Espada, yeah, these trades are about to get really nasty in the favor of the Gangplank. So plenty to watch in the top lane. The mid lane gank, don't mind it. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? You see the gank bot lane, you might as well go mid, you know, you're safe. But from there, you're in a good position to be able to, you know, try and get something. You did, of course, get the flash out of Bivexual, so putting pressure on that laner early doors. And of course, you have to expend your TP if you're Borok to get back. So Summoner's kind of being traded pretty equally. Old Man Genetics actually down both. Peacemaker, yeah, going for it on this Jinx, but you know, I think overall the lanes are kind of balancing out, right? Like the bot lane's slightly ahead for the side of Piltow's Finest Enforcers, but the solo lanes from the side of CB Rangers, the team coming in at 4-3, feel like they're in just a really good advantageous position.
Oh, Krama gets the E from Mordekaiser. He's going to be able to get a little bit of damage onto Espada, but nothing too crazy. Both junglers are in the area for bot lane as we are 6 minutes into the game, so the dragon has spawned, and Sejuani would definitely like to take advantage of that and get an early dragon, so she's queued over the wall into the pit, and Jinx and Terraka are actually the first two to make the move over to the river to help out Sejuani.
I don't know if they want to do this, though. I mean, the Jace does have priority. The Zac can, of course, engage really easily. And this is a very slow dragon tank early doors. Sejuani not known for early dragon.
Oh, no, Black Eyed Peas, he's so low already. He was by himself. He flashed, but he turns into the different little versions. Can they get the kill before? And Slicey Maelstrom is popped out of Bivexual. That's a double kill handed over to the jungler. And that's the third kill being given to Kennen there. So the rest of CBR are in the area. Krama and Barok are here, but what can they do? Mordekaiser gets stunned. Bivexual is just going to try to walk away while that shield is up. Measurable is full HP, but it's on the other side there, so Bivexual is going to get it. Get excited from Measurable. Barok is just going to try to walk back into lane. He has the flash. Is he going to use it? Sidesteps the W, though. Then stops. Goes to flash after Tarek failing the stun there. You finally get that summoner out, and you avoid the complete team getting deleted.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big win, of course, for Piltow's Finest Enforcers, picking up 4 kills there, you know, over the course of that fight. It was a long, extended fight. They did start the dragon early, but they turned it off really nicely. I was concerned for them. As soon as Zac popped the passive, was, of course, getting back to the blobs. I thought that could be too much time, but, you know, it does take time for Old Man Genetics and his Veigar to scale up and be that threat, and wasn't quite threatening enough, and, you know, Measurable was just kind of left alone to just wail on people with rockets. Really nice play, even though Bivexual was pushed in a little bit, slightly over halfway in the lane, did make it down to that fight early, landed the ult as well, which was really, really big, and started to cause problems that way. You know, picking up the Sorcerer's Shoes early does mean that even just a light little level 1 ult is going to cause problems, but it's a return onto Old Man Genetics, who doesn't really have much to do here.
What can he do? He doesn't have flash. Kilroy is in the area. Shut down, given over to Zac, though. Black Eyed Peas is going to get the kill thanks to the return, or the response in the gank there, keeping them around. So obviously Veigar goes down, but you will trade the Veigar to get the shutdown on Sejuani.
Yeah, that makes a decent amount of sense, but this is just time as well. The Veigar is not on the map, and as long as Old Man Genetics isn't on the map, he's not going to be able to farm up, he's not going to be able to, you know, stack up the phenomenal even power. Black Eyed Peas are going
he gets the bounce. Tarek is dead. Measurable has to pop the chompers just to root Zac to try to get out to safety, and they are going to stop chasing there. So a very greedy play, I would say, out of the bot lane on PFE, since you know the Zac was literally just there to save the bot lane, like maybe 20 seconds earlier, to push up like that without any summoners available.
Yeah, I mean, also you hadn't seen Barok in a while, so you have to wonder if Barok's coming down to help out. That said, of course, we are looking at the potential steal here. Kilroy doesn't have a ward in the pit, so may just be leaving this one to go, and the Veigar's already rotated to the mid lane, so this is kind of just a very fast play from CB Rangers to try and pick up some gold where they can. They are still significantly down, about 1.7 already at this marker. Bivexual looking for those team fights, not going to get one at that juncture. As yeah, it really is everyone around the mid lane right now. Don't let Bivexual get away with this. Is down on CS, but is significantly up on kills at 2-on-1. And the immediate response is going to be that Rift Herald. So, you know, nice rotation up. Espada coming down, kind of late. We did, of course, see Kramer already trying to get around the map a little bit, but no contest here from the side of the CB Rangers.
Annie is in the bot lane along with Jinx, so I think that's fine for them to trade to not have support for the AD carry. Bivexual popping the ult and popping Jsu, sending him back to the fountain there. Jaquel is going to try to help out his jungler, but he will not avenge him. Super Mega Death Rocket in the area, though. Kennen can clean this up. That's one kill. Black Eyed Peas luckily can bounce over the wall to safety there, but a spot of flash into the kill on to Old Man Genetics there. Vigar thought he was getting out, and the GP said no.
Yeah, this is another fight, though, where Piltover's Finest Enforcers just pick up a bunch of kills, right? Like, they get exactly what they want. Bivexual is now 4-0-1, so there's a monstrous Kennen that as soon as that Slice and Maelstrom comes across, is just going to start shredding teams, and now we're shoving more gold in their pocket, being able to pick up that, you know, that big win there. We're looking at a 3,500 gold lead to the side of Piltover's Finest Enforcers, and yes, they gave up the Dragon, they took the Rift Herald, they took the gold from it, and the big thing here is, don't let the game get to the point where the Vigar scales. Well, there's one easy way to do that, and that is to just keep pushing things down. The only one really dying on this side of things is, of course, Kilroy. I mean, Kilroy's died twice, but has still at least got something out of it both times. So trading these plates is going to be pretty difficult. And yeah, Barok is the focal point right now as he's very much pushed up.
Espada has completed Essence Reaver, so that's really nice for the GP in this matchup. Kilroy is going to clear that ward out there, and then just just looking. I wonder if the Vigar can't be the win condition. Let's say the game doesn't last long enough to get to that point does. Can Mordekaiser be meaningful enough against a fed Kennen that like doesn't necessarily care being in Mordekaiser's face?
I don't know about this one. I think the Mordekaiser's in a really rough position. Like, I think Kramer's made the right decision, right? With that build, like, obviously I love the Rylai's Rush. I think it's the best way to go. But the problem is like, you're kind of looking to play this one-on-one fight, right? Like, the Rylai's really helps you one-on-one. Isn't so hot in some of the more extended, like, longer team fights. You know, it definitely looks a little bit harder. And Bivexual's done a really good job in this. Oh, that's, I said really good job. That's a bit of a misplay in my opinion. But being able to cause some problems just with the stuns. The stuns have really stopped Kramer from popping the W, getting that shield and potential healing. So it's been a tough old matchup for this Mordekaiser, who doesn't even have the boots yet. So yes, a small misplay by Bifectual there, not being able to carry on with this kind of Kennen rush. But you know, you just saw what the jungler is. Maybe looking for the divers. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice knockback. But Kennen's still got damage.
Balrock has to walk under the turret. Black Eyed Peas is in the area. Can he do anything against this Taric and Kennen? They're not going to get killed as of yet. Death Realm is popped from Kramer, though. GP trying to help himself a little bit there, but not much he can do in the face of death, and Kramer gets that kill onto GP.
Yeah, Kramer does manage to pick up the kills, so 2-2 now, looking a whole lot stronger, a lot quicker. But my big concern here is still Bivexual. I mean, Bivexual is low, confident enough to stay in lane, and the other thing, we're just leaving the Jinx alone. How long? I mean, I know roughly when I like to play Jinx. It's about 2 items and some boots. So the quicker we let Measurable get to that point is going to be a massive concern. Looking at the wards, there is a lot of focus around the Dragon here. The bot side of the Dragon is being focused by, of course, Piltover's Finest. And then we're going from there. But Measurable could be in a tough position here. The Miracle is huge.
The cage and the ult popped out from Black Eyed Peas just to keep Jinx in the area. But because of Taric just being in the vicinity, ulting keeping her safe there, they are not able to secure the kill, and she walked out to safety.
Yeah, nicely done there by the side of PFE, being able to keep the Jinx safe. Makes a lot of sense. You know, just get her out of that situation, get her out of that problem. You know, you're 3,500 gold ahead. Your Jinx is ahead on CS. Just keep that one rolling. I mean, the CS across the board, it's like even top, even jungle, a little bit behind mid, well ahead in the bot lane. And that's really CB Ranger's strongest point, right? It has been for the most of the season, is the games that they win are won off Old Man Genetics and Peacemaker. So, all right, well, don't let them get that lead. I will say that is the Rift Scuttler picked up by the side of CB Rangers. But I think they knew that the PFE were going to come for this one.
Oh, Jaquel is stuck in the cage, but they don't respond to it. They don't try to pressure him down. Peacemaker already at half health before they've even started this fight at the dragon. The second dragon in the game has spawned, so that's why so many of the champions are in the area. TP is available for Krama, but not on a spotted side, so if they want to place a ward close down and have Mordekaiser make this a 5v4. Of course, Gangplank can still help out a little bit with his ultimate. In just like Jinx was able to help out at the Rift Herald earlier. You can be at the fight without being at the fight.
Yeah, Jaquale doesn't know he's on a ward though, not able to sweep that one right now. Does have access to the sweeper, I think, so probably wants to pop that one a little bit. But, it does look like PFE are just giving up on this dragon a little bit. Like, they've let themselves get back out the river. They have been warded out the river pretty heavily, so I think they're looking for a pick. So yeah, there's a Kilroy's sweeper. I do like that. It's going to help, but you want to go down river with that. You're trying to get the dragon. Why not? And I think this is the push, right? It's like we have a low health turret mid. Most teams, like you think about, like you watch some of the pro teams, they love to drop that Rift Herald before. You go for it, but this is exactly what Black Eyed Peas can do.
Black Eyed Peas gets a 4-man bounce into the ultimate, and ADC is down for PFE. They're going to have to do this fight at Dragon without Jinx. She does spawn in 20 seconds, so if they are able to delay it long enough, Measurable would be able to pop the ultimate from base to try to help out there. But they were clumped up, like the Zac was just like chomping at the bit, waiting to jump over the wall. Cage is used this time around onto Jaquel, but doesn't land the follow-up damage there, so he gets out.
Yeah, I don't think there's a dragon fight anymore for PFE. I think this is done. Like, they have to give this one up. There's no way. Everyone on their side of the map is, they're missing one, and the other three are getting poked out pretty consistently by Barok, so not able to do it. Ooh, an early rocket there. A nice try by Measurable, but not the one we need. The problem is, it's like, you've got to be mindful of the wards, and the way you have to ward against the Zac is so different, right? Like, you and I have played against some Zacs, and we know that the warding pattern is kind of weird, right? It's like the same warding pattern as the Fiddlesticks. Is the angles of approach are not the same, and if you do not respect that, you are going to get caught out. So this is given a lot of time for Old Man Genetics to get back in the game, which I do think is very interesting, because that was kind of where I wanted to see PFE shut them down a little bit more. But CB Rangers have played these team fights really nicely, and even though they're down, just under 3,000 gold, they seem to be getting it on. So haven't seen those teleports, those global ultimates just yet. Jaquale has been a little bit light on some of the engages. So even though they're ahead, I think CB Rangers kind of feeling pretty good about where they are in this matchup.
Yeah, that is the second time that Measurable has been caught out by the Zac with the gank over the wall. So I think hopefully the third time's the charm, is that they don't just like stand in the same area as each other and get bounced up together, because obviously that is what Zac is looking for. But the second Rift Herald of the game, you are going to have PFE controlling it right now. Can the red side try to get in? Kramer is in the area. Can he try the area? It's down to 3,000 HP. The E is pulled. 80 carries are in the bot lane there. Measurable taking 2 turret shots and just dying. Turret aggro more than the Vigor damage there. Red team steals the Rift Herald as well. CB Rangers just getting a bunch of wins and killing by Vexual. The shutdown given over to Krama. This is being turned over around, and CB Rangers tries to get the jungler. He Qs over the wall to safety, but then Zac is trying to bounce in, uses a smite, and the double kill given to Barak, as CB Rangers are back in this game.
Yeah, that's CB Rangers right back in it, and that is, the gold lead is about to be completely overturned as soon as this Rift Herald crashes. The big thing for me is just look at the warding. The warding around the objectives is so good from the side of CB Rangers. They're able to push this one, they're able to get the double charge as well, and I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to kind of stop that one. That is obviously the first turret destroyed, and the second turret. The third charge is not going to be an option, but that's still a massive gold swing for them, now sitting about 1,000 gold up. The big thing for me is Esparta's been stuck in the top lane. Esparta has not been able to influence the map and isn't quite at the point where that ultimate is able to make that difference in a team fight. The vision game is ridiculous from the side of CB Rangers, and the Zac angles haven't been covered by PFE, but CBR have been able to say, you know what, we'll just ward up around whatever objective we want. Just look at it now. They just hit the Rift Herald, so they're currently sitting on, I think it's 5 wards around the Rift Herald entrance. All right, we got a little bit of time to get on the side of the dragon. All right, you got to move that vision down, but they took the vision from the dragon, to the Rift Herald, and they're able to play this one really, really nicely. So, you know, there is definitely a concern there for me of you know, CB Rangers, PFE not kind of really clearing things out. And the other thing as well, it just feels like they've probably cleared a little bit more vision as well. They're finally going for a gank on this Mordekaiser, but what are you going to do? Mordekaiser loves the 2v1.
Yeah, and Kramer's ult just came back up, so Measurable gets caught out again, stuck in the cage, nothing he can do, and dies to Old Man Genetics. It's a 2-on-1. Kramer has the full shield, though, going to send him to Brazil and fight Kilroy 1-on-1 right in the face of the turret, though. Can he get the kill? Yes, he is. Then you can pop. There you go, pop the shield against Espada, pull it back in. One more Q should do it, and the double kill. Has to flash out to safety there, but that was a beautiful display of how to absolutely dominate on Mordekaiser. Domination in the bot lane, as well as the shutdown is given over to Bivexual. Don't know why you want to fight him. He was 4-1 at the time, but Black Eyed Peas walking over there. Both the tier 2 taken out of the mid lane on this side already this early on, just 20 minutes into the game, and they're already working on the inhibitor turret mid.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it. They do have to back off a little bit. It is going to be the side of CB Rangers that took a little bit of damage. Obviously, had to dodge out of that ult from Measurable. But, I mean, the fights and the picks coming through from CB Rangers looking way, way better right now. I mean, they're sitting at like a 1,500 gold lead, slightly more than that. But you know, they're just picking these fights, right? Like, okay, we gave another kill over to the side of Bivexual, but we also got a kill in the top lane, actually a double kill in the top lane, and then of course, you know, we get to play around that. So you know, let's see, Measurable now coming in at level 11. Let's take a look at the item choice. Obviously, you and I know what the second item on Jinx should be, and I don't see the components for that I love, Joe.
It's so tough with a champion like Jinx, who really does appreciate attack speed, and that's why we see the Zeal being picked here. So it's going to be most likely that Phantom Dancer picked second in this match. But like, when you're behind like this, you want to hit your power spike quicker, and the quicker power spike would be Infinity Edge. Espada is in danger. He's walking towards the red side, just trying to stay safe from Mordekaiser. He's feeling so confident, pulls him back, says, "Get over here and give me your kill."
Yeah, I mean, you and I played a game the other night, for those of you who don't know. I mean, at this point, honestly, CB Rangers just picking up, of course, another dragon. I don't think there's much that can be done about it. Kramer has the teleport as well, so unless you want to dice with that is looking pretty good. And that's going to be the third dragon for the CB Rangers. But you and I played a game the other night, Joe. We like to game when we have a little spare time. And on the Jinx, we're playing an ARAM, for those of you at home who don't know. I built a Runan's Hurricane second. And I can assure you, viewers, the telling off I received from Joe was preposterous, because it wasn't an IE, but I did have to justify it to him, right? I was like, well, they're all grouped up, so I want to hit all of them at once.
Right, it was ARAM, you were also ahead, you clearly were getting currency quicker, like, it's not like the same as on the Rift.
So, I mean, it is a little different, but I do think here, like, a Zeal item to just, you know, burn down a target quicker is fine, but Measurable is kind of falling behind, right? I mean, like, every time Measurable gets stuck in the lane with Old Man Genetics, it's done. Old Man Genetics literally has a level lead, so this not looking too hot right now. You know, I think, you know, we've got the Rod of Ages charging, that's about 5. You know, you already have the Seraphs ready to go, so yeah, it's just looking at item-wise across the lanes, it does feel to me like the power spikes are still coming just slightly ahead every time for CB Rangers, right? Like, it just feels better for the CB Rangers. Like, let's go top down. You've got the Rylai's and the Rift Maker against the side of the Essence Reaver and the Navori Quick Blades, which, you know, is the correct build on the Gangplank. You know, going down, we've got, we've only got 1 and a bit items on the side of the Zac, but the Sejuani, you know, is reliant on that ult, which hasn't always been the most impactful so far this game. We're looking at 30 mana away from evolving on the tier item there against the, you know, the mythic and sort of bits from the side of Bivexual, which is kind of strange, right? It's like Bivexual has got all these kills, but just hasn't been able to turn them into those quality items. But, you know, 2 full items versus the 1 over on the side of Measurable when it comes to the ADCs. And then support's pretty even. But that is the nature of the support one. So the one thing I want to call out is just look at the support numbers when it comes to vision. 80 to 41, Joe. Peacemaker has been doubly as good at solving the vision problem
Well, Chiquale does get rooted here, hit by the cage as well. Black Eyed Peas trying to hit him there. He's just a support by himself, so can the team get there to save him? Yes, Tarek will. We say they are forced to walk away. Glacial Crimson is used, but it doesn't really get anyone. Just slows them a little too far out. I've been there before myself with Sejuani thinking the range is further than it actually is, but now that crucial ultimate for Teamfight Engage is not available to them. And I just, it's just so unfortunate to see Kilroy just barely miss the ult there.
I mean, it looks like one of my Sejuani ults, to be honest, mate. I've played a number of Sejuani games with you, Joe, and you know it looks like that. So, you know, let's be honest. It's tough. It's a tough miss. But my big concern is, like, even if that hits, where's the follow-up, right? Like, it felt like a very defensive option. This is going to be Jaquali kind of finally clearing out a bunch of that vision, which is what I really like to see. But again, it's like 46 to 86 is still a massive vision score differential. Even the AD carries win on the side of CBR. The mid laners, big win on the side of CBR. Junglers, win on the side of CBR. And the only lane where PFE actually have the vision advantage is going to be that top lane, which is kind of strange, right? Like, that's not where you want your vision advantage to be. So, you know, we've got to look around the map. This is, of course, 3 dragons for CB Rangers, so at some point, we do have to be ready to go on the Dragon Soul point. We've already got a couple of really nice vision wards down there, the nice pink wards, if you will. Already waiting to go. And,
3 items. I was going to say, that's 3 items completed now. 4 Mordekaiser are there. So the Riftmaker, Demonic Embrace, and Rylaz is just a disgusting power spike for Mord at the next team fight.
I mean, yeah. As a Mord player, yes. If you were ahead, which was weird because, you know, Kramer wasn't really ahead, but was able to turn it into a lead, right? Like, I think, like, Kramer really understood, like, where things were when it came to the side of, you know, being able to play this game. It's like, yeah, you may be a kill down, you might be 2-2, whatever, but, you know, 1-2, and then you're in a really good position to be able to turn that around with the Rylai's, which is a pretty cheap item, you know, across the board. Feels good, but now, you know, it feels a little bit like we're just gonna start getting ready to fight around a dragon, which I feel like with team fighting, honestly, the amount of grouping that PFE have done, Black Eyed Peas has been feasting. Black Eyed Peas knows where they are, because they're always on wards, and Black Eyed Peas is able to capitalize off that. So let's see how this one goes. I will say in this one, it has been a scuttler going over to the side of PFE, but that gold lead they had earlier has gone, so that is something that they do need to be cognizant of. There is, of course, a bounty there, so the gold lead's been cut even more. If they can get back and spend in time for the dragon, which yet they can't because it's up, then that would be a very different thing. But
What are they going to do here? This is Dragon Soul. This is Chemtech Soul. If they don't do anything about it, okay, you got a couple of turrets, but you're giving up a permanent buff for the red side there. So 3 turrets in total taken against 4 if you want to count GP's first turret in top lane before the dragon was taken. So you trade 4 turrets, which is nice, get some objective bounties, but you just gave over Chemtech Soul for free.
Yeah, the big thing here is, like, Chemtech Soul is going to help them out so much across the course of the game. It's like, yeah, you just picked up a bunch of gold. Yeah, you just got 3,000 gold ahead. But what are you going to be able to do with that? I will say, here it is, Joe, from Measurable, the Runon's Hurricane second. I knew it was a good idea. And a good number of components on the side of the, wait, that's not Infinity Edge. I believe it's a Bloodthirster build. Because I use a pickaxe, so if you're going the longsword, it's got to be the Bloodthirster.
Yeah, I would go ahead and so I guess we'll see. Flash forward, though, from Tarek, right? Getting the stun onto Krama. They're going to fight Kilroy, punishing him there, bringing everyone in the area, but Jace slams down Jinx, and she is dead. Now Jaquil is stuck in the pit. He's going to go down. Kilroy has to try to queue out to safety, but Black Eyed Peas and Krama say, get back over here. They get the kill. They get 4 of them. They don't kill the GP, but they will also get the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, this comes back to it. It's like, this is where we're going to. PFE are trying to play the map, right? They're trying to play the map. They're trying to play the side lane stuff, this 1-4, this potential split. But look at the mid wave. The mid wave's already coming in. You are going to have to bring GP back right now. But you got the Baron. You got the Chemtech Soul. These fights are about to get really nasty. Old Man Genetics is scaled up very, very nicely. And there goes your mid turret. There goes your mid inhibitor. And
they're all spawning. Yep, they're all spawning within the next 5 seconds here, so they will have to be forced off after taking the inhib.
Yeah, I mean, they're forced off, but, you know, you already sent Kramer over to the bot lane. The Kramer's already picking up that wave, pushing it in a little bit. And now you get to play the kind of juicy 1-4, right? Kramer has, of course, added to the roster of items. He's picking up the first part of a couple of juicy ones. It's going to be Zach trying to get out. Oh, not going to be... Oh, sorry, Zach Vigar trying to get out. You know, Old Man Genetics does have to take some time, but, you know, with the Baron buff, that recall not as punishing.
So the only thing I can think is if PFE just wants to get to the Elder Dragon as quick as possible and try to win with that objective, like whatever, we'll give over soul, but that means if we can win the fight at Elder, that'll help us even more. Necessarily, it would help them more than the one Chemtech Dragon would if they were able to claim it. That's a big if.
I mean, are we just going to 5v5 at Soul, Elder? Like, that doesn't feel very PFE to me, right? Like, they've been winning these games competently. Jaquale, kind of, yep, oh, okay, well, you walked in and you got caught. Kramer just using this Baron as well. I mean, that's a huge wave under the Baron. That is walking out of the Gangplank ult at the second turret. And yeah, I mean, that's still going to be a turret that's very available as soon as that next wave comes in, especially with the support of Old Man Genetics over there. So they are just rotating around the map kind of nicely. It's an interesting split, right? Like, the Zac doesn't know where to go from the side of Black Eyed Peas. But, ooh, those
oh, Black Eyed Peas! What are you doing, Bivexual? He saw it hit! So now the jungler just pops over the wall and gets the kill. Kilroy is down as well. 2 dead on the side of PFE. I just think so many plays have been going this game where they're just not respecting their opponent. I understand they have a worse record than you, but just basic things like recalling in the bush that you just were spotted in instead of walking away to safety, it's just gonna cost PFE.
Yeah, the PFE have definitely underestimated their opponents. I mean, they've been even on gold a lot, but the way they've played this game has been so nice. I think the draft was really good from them too. And they've got this double cannon wailing on the turret. I know it's a hard ass, but I've always said it. I say it in every game. Let the cannons do the work, baby. You don't need the rest of the team to be diving turrets and getting crazy, especially when you've already got this big wave coming in the top as well. So you can get the triple inhib, you can get the triple super minions going through, or the double super minions, I apologize. But yeah, you've got another double cannon wave. It's like, okay, well, these guys are either going to have to take damage or they can give it to the Terran. The Baron has just ended, which is a big thing. But, you know, you can 5-man this lane. Bivexual, yeah, he's looking, he's in the chokes, but obviously not feeling it as much as he was earlier. I mean, he went 4-1, 5-1, now down to 5-3. So let these, you know, the mid and the bot wave come in, and then let the top lane do the work.
This kind of isn't that bad for Jinx though if Measurable just stays in the base and just keeps clearing all of these waves, because I was gonna say, had to just get to the Infinity Edge power spike, and that is where Measurable is. So even though they have been behind all game and they just keep getting caught out, now this Jinx can actually start being a problem in the team fights. We think a team fight, we would expect to see one within the next minute as the Elder Dragon spawns in about 45 seconds there. But looking at just the state of the game, 4 shutdowns on the side of CBR compared to, you know, Jinx has one now off of CS, and then obviously GP has it off of CS as well because he's been farming so much. Shaquala is in danger. Can he hit the blast cone out to safety? Yes, he gets over the wall, but right into the waiting arms of Black Eyed Peas for the kill. That's a moment that you think, I'm safe, and then you just die. But shutdown, given actually Jace is dead in this spot too, so Barak gives the gold back over.
Yeah, but I mean, it's mid lane for support. I don't know about that trade. Obviously, the side of PFE has gathered up. Oh, it's the old Fnatic Rush Hide. They have caught Kilroy, and this is the big one. Actually, is Kilroy with the dragon coming up. Bivexual trying, but not able to do it. This Mordekaiser from Kramer is nasty.
I give them some credit. They made them sweat in that moment. Kilroy and Bivexual actually did a lot of damage, almost took down the Zac, but just was not enough.
Yeah, Genetics TP'd and is bringing that wave in the mid lane, so just forcing these guys back. 3 of them have gone back, and this is now 3 of them from the side of CBR just wailing on this dragon. I mean, this Elder Dragon's taken, and yeah, Old Man Genetics just walked away and said, okay, well, I'll just go help with the dragon.
Yeah, because he pushed the wave and he realized that he wasn't necessarily needed at the Elder Dragon there. Obviously, 4 of them could handle it, and he could push that wave under just to try to get it back in and take advantage of it while they have the Elder buff up. They can push in, try to have a fight in the base with the buff.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here as well is, like, the vision was all around that. So as soon as they saw the side of PFE just walking over all that vision to return back, they knew the dragon was free for them. That bottom jungle, that bottom quadrant right there on the south is lit up like a absolute Christmas tree. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wards on that side of the map. So as soon as you back off, as soon as you concede, you are going to be known and you are going to give up an Elder Dragon, which means you can't contest this Baron. If they turn on this Baron, you are absolutely doomed. So CB Rangers, they're burning it pretty quick as well. I mean, they're already at half health, already under half health. What are you going to do, Kilroy? You're gonna try and steal?
Nope.
No. You just dashed away. So yeah, the Gangplank ult's there, but the smite is true from Black Eyed Peas. We're off to push the top lane, I would imagine. Kilroy, what are you doing?
With the double buffs in the area, you knew they were there. Why would you stay around? Has to flash. Bounce House is popped from Black Eyed Peas, and they 5-on-1 destroy the enemy jungler. He's now down for 45 seconds when you have to defend your base at all costs.
That is silly. I love a Gromp. I do love a Gromp when I jungle. But that is not worth it. That is absolutely silly. And that is the big problem, is like this Baron wave's coming in. I mean, the big thing is there's 2 supers in the bot lane too. So it's like somebody's got to go deal with them. But you're about to be given a really hard time, and every time you walk away, you are going to get slapped by Burrock's Jace. So this is all of the inhibitors down now. CB Rangers looking for the win. They've already got waves in some of the others. Yes, Measurable is trying to get there.
Oh, no!
Okay.
He brings Jinx to the death realm, and she's not going to make it out. Shutdown given over 10. Make it 11 kills for Mordekaiser in this game. Triple kill to end it. That is the ace. And for anybody who came in today thinking this would be a 3-0, it's not going to be on PFE's side. They're going to have to respond because CB Rangers win game 1.
Yeah. What I find interesting about this is PFE went blue side, right? And they still had some very questionable lanes. PFE got off to a great start, but it does appear that Bivexual is the only one stepping up tonight in game number 1. The side of Espada, a player who has been very, very good throughout the course of the regular split, has been that other like big solo lane carry for the side of PFE. I'll be honest, just wasn't there. Wasn't able to put up those same kind of numbers. Yes, the gold there is very high. That is, of course, as I believe we like to say, deceiving, because that is a Gangplank who gets a little bit of extra gold everything they do. But look, let's just run down it real quick, Joe. You got Mordekaiser just above even with the Gangplank, but Gangplank gets extra gold, so that's a win in that lane for CB Rangers, a lane that traditionally they don't win. Jungle a little bit ahead. Black Eyed Peas, fantastic ganks throughout the game. Burrock, only a little bit ahead. Bivexual had a really great game, but Burrock also put up the numbers. Old Man Genetics ahead, was able to put up the numbers, missing on the CS, but winning on those kills. And of course, Peacemaker putting in a decent shift on the Annies. So just felt like a more team game from CB Rangers. I mean, they got 4 dragons uncontested. What more do you want?
No, I mean exactly. I think that's just perfect. Like, when you look at some of those score lines for some of the players in CB Rangers, Black Eyed Peas 3-1-16. That's how he likes to play. He had 144 assists in the regular season as a jungler, 15th in the entire league, and then Peacemaker on a support. You love giving all those or getting all those assists, I should say. 165 assists in the league. That was 9th overall out of the entire Divinity League. So they're supportive, more team-oriented players, team-focused players in jungle and support actually performed perfectly well, and then it let Krama carry.
Yeah, I mean, Mordekaiser's got to get banned, right? Like, we all know Mordekaiser's silly right now. Mordekaiser's
I think Zach is more ban-worthy than Mordekaiser, honestly, because the first 10 minutes, this was not a Mordekaiser game. He just started collecting kills at Rift Herald and getting shutdowns and eventually got fed. I think Zach's the bigger problem.
I mean, I agree, but also, I mean, you can't play against Zach if you're going to play that vision game. The vision game from the side of the CB Rangers was just better. Like, it was just factually better. The numbers don't lie. The vision score was there. And I'm like, you can't be leaving that vision open if the side of, CB Rangers is just going to jump over the wall at you every single time. So, I mean, if Zach gets banned, just go to Fiddlesticks at that point, right? Like, same idea, right? Like, pop over the wall, surprise, and cause those problems.
Yeah, I do. Also, production I'm having a visual issue at the moment. If we there we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. We can head over to the damage numbers as well, actually, and just see how they performed. And look at that. We said the carries on PFE, the solo laners, are the ones that pop off, but in return, it's actually CB Rangers solo laners that popped off this game.
I mean, what would you rather have, the 29.8 thousand damage Mordekaiser or the 19.3 thousand damage Gangplank? It is
A pickle.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, pretty much dead even, slightly more from the side of the Jace. You know, a little bit behind in the carry, I guess, on the bot lane. But, you know, it just felt like a more well-rounded game from CB Rangers. So, honestly, I think you called out at the end of the game. A lot of people were expecting PFE to be able to take this one down, to be able to kind of run the gamut on them. But CB Rangers have turned up and said no. So, what do you go do in game 2?
Well, let's find out. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our game 2 between Piltover's Finest Enforcers and CB Rangers here in the Divinity League, the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be exciting, so we'll be right back. All right, we are ready and getting into the draft right away, Daz, not wasting any amount of time for game two between Piltover's Finest Enforcers and CB Rangers. CB Rangers took that shocking game one victory, and PFE wants to run it back on blue side.
Yeah, I mean, PFE felt like they were in the right position. It looks like we're getting a very similar draft. Trundle, Aurelion Sol taken away early doors. Seems to be the the standard issue. I don't mind Aurelion Sol going away, Joe. I think it's actually a kind of a nuts champion right now, so let's just not deal with it. Also, don't all the new names for the skills, so that helps me out significantly.
I think I got Skies Descend or something like that. That's the only thing
the Skies do descend.
Picked up on, they do be descending when Aurelion Sol is on the field. So luckily we will not see him in this match. Maybe it's just going to ban it in all 5 games. But Daz, am I the only one that remembers Bivexual was 4-0 like 8 minutes into the game? And then they just didn't really play around mid. So I think this time around, this draft, hopefully PFE tries to focus Bivexual a little bit better.
Yeah, I think as well. Like, look at the bans from PF Enforcers, right? Zach, massive problem. Mordekaiser, massive problem. Let's get rid of both of them, right? Like, why are we playing this game anymore? So a nice pivot, but you got to think, what have you given up in exchange for that maybe CB Rangers can rip out early doors? That doesn't seem right to me. So yeah, I think that's a smart play. Be interesting to see what PFE take early on here. The Jinx felt good. The Kaiser is a much better pick and a much more powerful pick when you look at the side of Measurable. A lot more Kaiser games in the last, let's just say 24 hours. It was 2 Jinxes coming into tonight. And before that, let me just count. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 back-to-back Kaisers. So yeah, that one
feeling comfortable on the champion right now.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about the Kaiser. Is of course a bigger pick, but Joe is excited. I'll let him talk about this one.
Okay, so I was going to mention that Ashe and Sivir were banned last time by PFE. They've been left up here. I'm not too sold on the Sivir into Kaiser matchup. Maybe this is just happens to be one of their most played ADCs, the most comfortable ADCs to play on, but obviously CB Rangers showed a lot of team fighting synergy last game there, and they didn't even have an ADC that can speed the rest of the team up. So this time around with Sivir, I really like this adjustment since it was not banned. You force those bans on Mordekaiser and Zach this time, leaving it open for Sivir to get picked up. And then Amumu's technically still a flex in between jungle and support. Most of the time you see it as a support, and it can actually pair pretty well with Amumu, but we'll have to see if that does get flexed around.
Yeah, I think the pivots here are obviously going to be huge. It was something we saw a lot in game number 1, so the pivots certainly caused some conundrums, even though I'd say PFE actually kind of won out on a number of those. It is going to be the Sejuani again, so that Sejuani probably needs to do a little bit more. Wasn't my favorite pick in the first game, but we'll see exactly how this one shakes out as the Amumu comes through. Amumu kind of fills that same role as Zach, right? Like, can pop over the wall if you're close enough with the bandage toss, can find a way in, and that, getting into the fights, this seemed to be the way that CB Rangers and particularly Black Eyed Peas wanted to play this one. So definitely works out quite nicely, definitely fills that same role for what was successful for them. And yeah, it's going to be definitely locked into the jungle. So you see a Rel, a champion I'm actually a massive fan of, just haven't seen enough of in the past 6 months, past while, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, Rel is a champion that it's tough for her to exist in a balanced state the way she is. She's either Giga OP first pick, Core JJ popping off every game, or just like Rel. Oh yeah, I remember her. She used to exist. So she's locked in. A bit curious to see CB Rangers pick her there instead of potential mid laner or something like that, and then save at least save the potential bans and the potential flexibility that Amumu could have been, because now you do know that, and PFE are able to just ban out the solo lanes.
Yeah, but then look at the solo lanes. It's like, you've already got rid of the Maud, you got rid of the Gwen, you can maybe get rid of a mid laner, but CB Rangers felt pretty good. I mean, I think that Jace coming through was nice. I think the Jace poke before a lot of the team fights was really problematic. CB Rangers going to pinch that mid lane with the Seraphine and the Syndra as well. So Bivectual forced into another one of these picks, and it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Show me the cannon early again? All right, then we'll just go, we'll just pick around it. So definitely feels pretty solid. That is going to be the Renekton ban from PFE. I do have my opinions on Renekton, but we'll get to those in the game as well. I'm not sure exactly how big that is as a pick for the side of Kramer. It kind of feels a little bit similar, but Kramer's pool for the top lane is pretty solid, right? And the one thing they've left up that I'm not 100% about is we've left the Jax up.
That's right. It was banned in the second phase of bans last game around, so this could be exactly what CB Rangers wants. Renekton, like if you can play Mordekaiser, you could probably play Renekton because you like bullying your opponent in the lane there. Orianna, the selection for CB Rangers there as their mid laner, a nice safe control mage, just trying to keep it simple. If you expect to lose lane to Bivectual anyway, as potentially the best mid laner in the league, it definitely makes sense to just play it safe on Orianna.
Yeah, I mean, Orianna can sit back, command attack, command protect, just kind of keep the lane going as needed and just wait for a Mumu to turn up as well. Black Eyed Peas was going to that mid lane nice and early. You think about the first gank in the last game, right? It was the Sejuani going into the bot side and then cause those problems. The Malphite the Blind from PFE. Not sure about this one, particularly when you're looking at Sivir, which can spell shield it. Then you're looking at a bunch of people who are going to be able to. Yeah, you heard it, Joe. We talk about
no, that's not right now, Daz. Champions. Say it with me.
Champions. Yes, champions. People can figure out what other game Joe and I cast together. But I mean, the Victor, we're going double control mage. Malphite, I don't actually think it beats Jax. I don't think it genuinely does it. But if we're going to play a long game, I mean, you want to play a long game, right? You want Victor to scale up. You know what else scales really nicely? It's going to be some wet noodles up top.
Dude, okay. I am absolutely... Correct me if I'm wrong, Daz, if I'm just on an island by myself here, which you would know since you play top lane. And I'm really a big fan of CB Rangers draft in this matchup. Sivir Rel work well together. Ornn, you're just trading top lane Ornn and Malphite. You don't really care what happens there. Orianna has some really nice synergy, especially with Sivir and Amumu. You put the Shockwave onto Amumu. He bandage tosses in. He ults down. You Shockwave. Like, I really like what CB Rangers has put together here in this game, too.
Yeah, I mean, CB Rangers is all about the team fight, right? It's like Rel runs in, Amumu runs in, Sivir wails on them from behind, Orianna balls, Ornn goes over the top. Like, this is once again a massive team fight comp. I mean, to be fair to PFE, they've drafted a much better kind of team fight comp this time, right? With like the Malphite ult, with the Victor ult over the top, the Sejuani ult, the Janna ult to kind of disengage, and then the Kai'Sa to like dance around and deal the damage. So it does feel pretty good from both sides.
I would kind of, obviously they picked the Janna very early on, so they like the synergy with Kai'Sa Janna, but typically you do see a more engage-oriented support paired with Kai'Sa, let's say like Kai'Sa Nautilus or Kai'Sa Rakan, things that are in that style where you can even do Kai'Sa Thresh, different things. Any of the hook champions really work well with Kai'Sa in the bot lane. I'm sure you could have some sweaty Pyke players that play well into or with their Kai'Sa there. So like I'm not like necessarily sold on the Kai'Sa Janna synergy.
Yeah, it feels weird, right? It's like Kai'Sa wants to go forward, Janna kind of wants to just keep you away. So it's like, if you go forward, there's nobody there or close by to help you out. Like there's a very different situation between the tornado knocking them up to the flash flay hook that you're getting CC'd for 2-3 seconds. You're just gonna get wailed on by the Kai'Sa. So it feels like a lot of work left to do.
Yeah, and we will keep you updated throughout this series how the other series are going in the Divinity League, because it's not just these two teams that are playing right now. There are other matchups in the best of fives in the first round of the playoffs. One update we have is that Eclipsing Tides has won their game one. We saw them last week on stream. They're a really strong team, so we'll keep you updated as things are going along as we get prepared to go into game here, and we are ready to head to a break real quick. When we come back, we will have our game 2 matchup between PFE and CBR. All right, we are back and ready for game 2 of this matchup between PFE and CB Rangers. Zemanon and Dodds on the call the whole way through this best of 5. And as it gets started, we were, kind of having a conversation, Dodds, while we were waiting for it to load in. And the more I look at it, the more confident I do feel in CB Rangers' team composition compared to what PF Enforcers drafted.
Yeah, I mean, CB Rangers have kind of drafted what I believe would be called a banger. It's a nasty team fight comp. It is, everything on their comp layers together, right? You got the Ornn ult, the Mumu ult. Somebody is going to end up with the Orianna ult on them. The Sivir is going to be able to help them get to those ults with their ult. And of course, you got the Rel ult as well. So you kind of got two options for the ball, right? You got a Mumu and Rel. Both of their goal is to dive in, lay a massive circle around them. And their circles are, pretty good, pretty solid. But the Orianna circle is disgusting. So that is going to be some big shockwaves. And it's kind of like, it's a similar idea when you look over the side of the PFE, right? They're going for this Malphite ult, which is a nice tight little circle. You can follow it up with, of course, the Sejuani ult. You've got the circle as well coming through from the Victor. But this bot lane just feels weird, right? Like, what's the Janna going to do? Like, lay a tornado through the group? And then, yeah, you're relying on Immeasurable to be able to cause those problems. So once again, I mean, I think the comp is just definitely advantaged. And, if this game does go long and you don't get those early advantages, which I just don't see right now on the side of PFE, that is what we call Ornn hours. And then the Ornn is going to be able to pair up with the ornaments and, of course, cause problems that way. So the mid lane, Bivexual, was obviously the carry in a lot of these games. I don't know if Victor's the way to carry these games.
Yeah, it's a different way of carrying, right? Because obviously we've seen Victors.
That trade is ridiculous, Joe. That is what top lane's about.
The top laner loves seeing them go at it right there. Malphite being punished. But Bivexual, the Victor, we've seen take over games. You can just get so far ahead and just be such a hassle. They can't walk through the river. Every time they're just going to get melted down by all your stuff. But it doesn't seem to match Bivexual's play style like we saw in game 1. Like, you'd probably expect to see Ari or LeBlanc or Silas, like something that can carry more proactively as a mid laner.
Yeah, I think, one of those hard engage or burst assassins would be the way to go. But, going for that Victor, just being able to trade, they're going pretty even right now. They're going even on CS, a slight advantage for Burrock, but of course the waves aren't exactly even. Just being able to cause that problem. The big thing for me is, you want to talk trades, let's talk top lane, right? One thing I hate playing against this tanks is Ornn, because the Ornn's percentage health damage just shreds you really badly. One thing I will say is, Burrock definitely has the advantage, right? This wave is coming in, but it's already up a few CS, and if he can open up that gap, there's going to be a problem. It's all about the junglers. Peacemaker and Old Man Genetics kind of sense something's up. Their vision isn't quite there yet. This is going to be an ambitious gank from Kilroy. But, if you go on Peacemaker, Peacemaker can just dash out. And of course, there is the option for Old Man Genetics to spell shield a nasty one as well. So they have got the ward in that third brush, which I think is going to keep them safe for now.
Measurable does miss the W, though, so they're not going to do too much damage. And Sejuani decides she's been there long enough. Kilroy is going to walk away and not follow up. Old Man Genetics is going to pop the Q, though. Hits Measurable, brings Jaquale down. The W does so much damage. It actually does a lot more early on Sivir than the boomerangs do. Flash is used from Bivexual in the gank there in mid lane, so that is his cooldown. Going to be able to recall, though, and TP back to lane. But just to finish up that point, the boomerang feels nice to hit, but W actually does much more damage early game because of the minions bouncing and hitting the enemy side.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing as well is they're pushing and pushing against Old Man Genetics and Peacemaker, but they're still ahead on CS, right? It's as long as they can farm well under or at least close to the turret, they're going to be in a good position. So they're carving out this slight advantage when they're even on waves right now. Yes, Measurable is able to farm up a little bit better, but You know, Old Man Genetics has been playing this one well. Peacemaker's, of course, picking up that extra CS, which is different to Janna's side of the field, who isn't going to be able to rack up those numbers with the choice of support items. So this CS lead is actually a little bit bigger than you may think. And that is kind of big when we come to some of those early break points in the bot lane. Yeah, Old Man Genetics has to be a little bit careful. It is going to get poked down. Oh, Jaquali is getting poked rather hard there.
Just walking right into it. I think that was one note on the Taric as well. Like they're both enchanter style or supportive style there. And in game one, Jaquali was just like walking into areas, missing the stun, and getting punished for it. And you know, I don't want to see the Janna fall to the same fate here in game two.
Yeah, the Janna doesn't feel like it's going to be able to make that early impact that I think Jaquali might want. That Q is silly, Joe. Did they buff her?
No, they have not. She has not been buffed.
Huh.
I would say one of the big buffs to her, as we can talk about itemization, we'll see how it works. One, Old Man Genetics is running Ghost on as his second summoner spell. Sivir is probably one of the best ADCs in the game to use that, alongside Zeri, obviously. Sometimes you'll see it on Jinx as well. But Sivir got a pseudo buff as she was one of the best marksmen with the Navori, i.e. 40% threshold change, because a lot of times she just felt way too long to get online, waiting for that 60%, waiting to hit IE, because a lot of times Navori was too expensive, didn't feel like it. With Kraken Slayer, Navori, Quickblade, Sivir is now one of the strongest marksmen at that two-item power spike in the game.
So it has to be Navori Quickblade second? Is that the
rule? It doesn't have to. It just does help, because what does Sivir like to do? She likes to auto attack very quickly. And and you get a lot of benefit out of Navori Quickblades, because you're already lowering your cooldowns from your ultimate when you auto attack. So there's like double synergy with Quickblade and the On the Hunt.
Okay, well, this is another early dragon as well, though, from the side of CB Rangers. I mean, CB Rangers have done such a good job securing these dragons in game one. Why not continue that trend in game number two, as they do just group up and take that one pretty freely? Very easy for Old Man Genetics to walk over and just be like, yeah, don't come in here. I'm Sivir, and I'm going to hit you with the Boomerang Blade. So feels pretty good on that side. Just taking another rundown of the board, top to bottom, how I like to do it. You know, it's a slight lead on the CS from Kramer. There's going to be a slight lead on the CS, and of course the jungle items stacks on the side of Black Eyed Peas. Nice little, you know, a couple leads there for the side of Barrock as well. And actually a very significant lead when you think about it looks like 51-51, but then think about it. Don't forget, Peacemaker is sharing that experience. Peacemaker playing for the team, being able to get that, and are we going to get it? The plate as well. So this is actually a pretty significant lead for the very strong, very potent bot lane of the side of the CB Rangers.
Yeah, I definitely would give the advantage early on into Sivir and Rel. Just like we talked about, that lack of synergy that Kai'Sa and Janna typically have. The inherent synergy, I should say. But Peacemaker is up front here, gets the stun onto Jaquali. The tornado does hit Sivir, though, so that is going to force her to step back there. If Old Man Genetics was able to dodge that tornado, would have been a bit different of a trade, but Jaquali gets out very healthy.
Yeah, I mean, both of them getting out pretty well. Peacemaker's obviously able to get that awkward, weird heal with the Rel. I don't know if I agree that Rel is like a healing champion.
Oh, Black Eyed Peas is in the area, and they don't know it. Can he go in? No. Measurable is just going to walk under. He took just a little bit too long to respond to that.
Yeah, I think Old Man Genetics took a little bit too much early doors in that trade as well. So, you know, like Old Man Genetics is like, I don't want to do this anymore. Black Eyed Peas is like, yeah, we could. And it's like, no, like I'm not.
On the hunt! Peacemaker goes in. Jaquali 3-on-1 under the turret. The Boomerang misses, though. Boomer missed. First Blood gets over to the Rel, the worst person that it could go to, all because the Boomerang missed on Old Man Genetics there. So they do get First Blood. They are going to get this second turret plating as well. Looks like he's one auto away from it, and there they get it. So that is definitely a worthwhile trade, but look how low HP they are against Miserable. No isolated Q, though. Miserable completely messed it up. Killer Instinct. He doesn't get it. Old Man Genetics gets to walk away thanks to the spell shield. Can the minions auto take him down? Yes! The minion with the assist, and Measurable gets that gold. Now a fight in the top lane. Sejuani is dead. Black Eyed Peas roamed immediately to the Rift Herald for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, you traded 1-for-1 in the bot lane, but the one thing I will say, I mean, you called it out, Jay. You're like, okay, we didn't want the kill to go to Peacemaker. I'm not a bot laner, but first blood is first blood, baby. Like, you know how it is. Like, you know the phrase. Like, it is what it is. But again, you know, gathering around these objectives has just been exactly what CB Rangers are trying to do, right? They've gathered around the objective once again, and they're getting a Rift Herald. So they've taken a Dragon and a Rift Herald. Like, PFE obviously came into this matchup as the big one, but where's this objective focus? And like, that's where I'm like a little bit concerned right now. Like, they're just missing out on these objectives. So I think that's a big thing for them to consider. You know, the Herald's obviously going to keep the plates going, keep the gold rolling as well. It is already a pretty decent little chunk on the side of CB Rangers being able to pick up that gold. I believe it's like 1,500 right now, which is, you know, half an item or a BF sword to those of you that will.
And you asked, like, you know, where are those objectives? Oh, Peacemaker in the area with Kilroy going to have to use the Blast Stone to get over the wall. But Kilroy's playing Sejuani in both of these games. It's not Evelyn. It's not Master Yi, right? It's not like, leave me alone, let me farm my jungle, and then I'll carry once I have my items. It's Sejuani, who loves objective team fight oriented, you know, League of Legends. So I think that is an idea that they should be grouped up. You hit those glacial prisons, Malphite ults as well. Bivexual gets in the area, can work. Well, like this team, the Sejuani wants to be clumped up, and they're just not using it well so far.
I mean, what's weird about this is, like, they picked blue side, right? And, like, I know obviously map decisioning, you know, it's all about the draft, but you think about, like, what you're drafting too. If you're really into this Sejuani, blue side Dragon is actually the best place for a Sejuani to be, because Sejuani from there can just be like, oh, which choke do you want to come through? Okay, well, I deny that. Like, that's going to be a nah from me, dog. And you can just close off a choke with the Glacial Prison. So, not sure about how they're playing this one. Again, Kilroy's stuck on this sedge. You know, playing in this, you know, 3v2 now doesn't feel that hot, as Old Man Genetics and Peacemaker are just kind of like, yeah, please leave my lane.
Amumu is here to respond to the counter gank while Kilroy walks away, so you know nothing's
while the dragon's up, yeah,
to happen there. Gonna head over to the top lane. I should say the Rift Herald is popped from the red team, is what I meant to say. They will be able to finish off that turret. 12 minutes into the game, they get the first turret, and you can actually kind of move this Sivir around for the next minute and have to try to get more plating.
Oh yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is, like, Espada can't be leaving right now. Espada's already at half health. Kramer has done a fantastic job. Yes, he's down on CS. That is normal for the Ornn. But not having to back to cause these problems feels very good. And guess what? It's another dragon for the side of CB Rangers. So CB Rangers, so far in the set, have not dropped a dragon. That is now 7 uncontested dragons. Bivexual is up there, but yeah, what are you going to do? The Ornn's going to get up there. You're going to spend a lot of spells getting rid of him.
Oh, the Force Gun! No, it doesn't.
Matter.
It doesn't help him. I thought maybe if you got it there a little bit faster, just pop them up and you walk away. But it does not help. The kill is given over to Bivexual, so that's helpful for PFE in that spot, since he did get rewarded for that gank.
All right. Would you rather have 1 kill on the top lane or a dragon?
Well, I think it's the dragon, especially since it's the second dragon of the game, you know.
Yeah, second dragon just makes a lot of sense. Like, I mean, it's also like, yes, the Ornn is down now. Espada has done. I will say Espada has played a lot better in this game. But once again, it's like, okay, well, you know, you're giving up the drag, you give up the Rift Herald, you give up the drag. Okay, you got to kill on the top lane. All right, cool.
So just a little confusing, guys. If you see this, Sivir actually went top as Rel went mid, and usually bot once they take the turrets, they rotate mid because it's closer, right? But especially since Rel went mid, Sivir went top. She only gets the 1 plate and is forced off because she doesn't have the support in the area. Ornn walked mid as well. Like, I think that was a missed opportunity from CB Rangers there.
Yeah, I mean, CB Rangers kind of messing that kind of reassignment up. But across the board, they've got to be feeling good, right? Like, yes, the Ornn is a little bit down, but the Ornn's value is intrinsic to the ornaments. So, you know, that 20 CS is about to become nothing in the scale of gold appropriated across the map. There's a massive, massive lead in the jungle. Black Eyed Peas is almost done, literally 1 camp away from completing the jungle item to the 10 on the side of Kilroy. So a little bit of work to do there. Dead even in the mid lane. A kill, of course, on the side of Bivexual. But, you know, Orianna definitely works well with the team. I think, yes, there's a kill and some CS. But, the difference numbers, you know, a kill, as we all know, is about 17 CS. And 29 of those CS, you have to hope at least 26 of them have been going on to the correct side. So that still evens in the bot lane. And we'll see how this one plays out. But I just haven't seen the side of PFE just get into the game where they need to be right now. And, you know, I think the assignments have been causing problems. Jaquali just lost about 30% off that Orianna.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anyone else was in the area to follow up on Barak, might have actually popped the ult there just to kill Jaquale, but luckily for them, does not get punished. Oh, but they are there, and then there's the shockwave. Kind of comes 5 seconds later. Measurable trying to fight him, pops his ult to get into Barak's face, going to flash as well, but dies anyway. Orianna says, absolutely not, Kaisa. I'm going to kill you. Black Eyed Peas and Rel will take down Kilroy. Double kill for Barak here.
Yeah, that is a big play executed by PFE that has gone, how do we put this politely, the incorrect direction. That is not what you want to see. They saw, obviously, Barak is throwing out the ball, is throwing out some of these attack commands, and just didn't feel like that big of a threat when they engaged. Yeah, they went a little bit too far on the side of PFE, and they got what I believe is the technical term, Joe. I'm not an expert, but I believe the term is punished. They got caught short once again and gave up another 2 kills. Barak is now 2-0-1. Old Man Genetics is in danger, I will say that, but look what the support is bringing. It's going to be 2 players coming from the topside river, and that means that, yeah, they're in control of the river. Once again, I have to call this out, and this is something that PFE need to take a good hard look at. This vision game is slipping because they are losing in the river. And guess what you want early game? The river objectives. They are slipping in the river. They do not have the same thing. Peacemaker with a disgusting engage.
Yes, and that is a kill. Measurable is down. They popped the Rift Herald as well to take down this tier 1. Luckily, Old Man Genetics did get the kill there, so you can get extra gold. Kilroy and Jaquale are going to try to stop, but the Rift Herald does get a second charge.
Yeah, it's fucking like Kled over here, like, charge! It's just taking those turrets, and, you know, this dragon's coming up as well. They're going to drop the collapse, I think, onto the side of Espada, but
no,
as soon as they try to come and counter, Jaquale is so low!
Oh, one more auto gets it!
Got it!
Black Eyed Peas gets the kill there. 2-0-3 on the Amumu. Demonic Embrace was completed first item. It is not the power spike that it used to be for junglers like Amumu and Maokai, but obviously it still is a very strong item, and this should be, if uncontested, if Kilroy doesn't come in the area quickly, should be the 3rd dragon of the game.
I mean, also, I think Kilroy comes in the area. That is one of the most disrespectful things I've seen in a while, as Kilroy runs to the top side and knows that this is not your time. And once again, this is not 1 game, but this is 2 games where the CB Rangers have agreed that, you know what's really cool? It's the objectives, right? Like, everyone loves objectives. Like, you know, there's...
It's like when we play Clash, and, you know, we put me on Shen just because I'm just going to play safe. Shen, Malphite, Ornn, that's my top lane pool. And we just focus all the objectives, get as many dragons as possible, because we know if we are not necessarily worse, but if we don't have the advantage, the way CB Rangers were seen going into this match, they were not seen as having an advantage. What can equalize the difference in player skill is map control and dragon objective taking.
So I'm going to update the phrase, a classic phrase from, you know, by the way, this is also Kilroy just finishing the jungle item, so as you can see, quite far behind Black Eyed Peas. You know, the classic phrase is only 2 things that are inevitable in life, death and taxes, right? I think there's a second version, which is there's only 3 things inevitable in life, death, taxes, and loving your mother. But after the evidence that I'm seeing tonight, there's 4 phrases.
Okay.
Death, taxes, loving your mother, and CB Rangers taking all the dragons. Like, this is...
It's guaranteed.
This is silly. Like, they've taken now... it was 5 in the first... So we're now on 8 uncontested dragons from the side of PFE. When are they going to go to a dragon? Like, they have to go to a dragon at some point because you cannot give these objectives over.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the team comms are like right now for PFE. If they just say, let's just keep conceding and conceding and conceding. Well, eventually, the longer this goes, Ornn is going to give everyone an upgrade to their mythics. Sivir is going to get a huge power spike because she's a late game scaling ADC. Mumu is going to be just in too tanky to deal with. And Barak on his Orianna is going to do disgusting amounts of damage. So I don't really think this is the game that you sit back and scale on. This is the one that you needed to get ahead on Kai'Sa and on Sejuani.
I mean, the other side of it is like we go 2-0 down, like you got to do a reverse sweep, and that is that's quite the ask, even for professional teams. So yeah, I think they've had a tough one in the draft, and now we have to see how they want to play this one from the side of PFE. It just seems like a big uphill struggle, and you know, I don't want to say it, but you know, they don't have a foothold in this game once again. Let's run the numbers, Joe. By the ticker, we'll go reverse up. Support. Once again, we're ahead on Vision. Peacemaker beating out his opponent, Inja Quale. It's going to be a little bit of a win for Old Man Genetics over Measurable. It's going to be a pretty significant win, actually, for Barak, which is great for a mid laner, right? Like, being able to control these two river brushes feels
And for
good
Orianna,
over
because you have that vision, you can pop it out.
Yeah, and for Orianna, too. Another chunky win. Black Eyed Peas has got that win over the side of Kilroy. And the only win I think I see so far on the side of, you know, PFE is going to be that top laner. So, yes, Malphite has a little bit of vision on Espada, but, yeah, that's not enough to make up for the deficiencies across the board. And once again, you know, they're already looking, they're already getting prepared. The river, the bot side river, is focused around the mid lane. So if you take a look, mid lane coming through to the dragon, past those wolves, past the, you know, into the river, just behind the wolves, behind the red buff, is going to be a problem. We are going to encounter a pause right now.
Yeah,
because
but
Barak
kind
has
of
been in and out this game.
He's been short-circuiting like a robot would, and I think just, you know, committing to the cosplay of playing Orianna here, like the last couple minutes, just reconnect, disconnect. So not sure how long this pause would happen here. Hopefully we can get an update at some point from the teams in their game. But like, yeah, Daz, we can just continue to talk here and talk about the state of the game. Looks like a 5,500 gold lead for the Rangers, and a lot of that is off the back of the jungle difference here. 2 items completed on Amumu compared to literally just the mythic for Sejuani.
Yeah, I mean, we let's run it top down. Let's do how I like to do with you know, the matchups. All right, let's go top lane. I know the top lane, so I'll talk on this one. We got 1 item apiece. Sorry, I say 1 item, 1 and a bit items from the sides of, you know, Kramer. He's already upgraded his Jack Show, which means he's rather impossible to kill. Got the boots, well on the way with this next item. All right, just doesn't look as good over on the side of Espada, right? Yes, there's a CS lead. I don't know if it's worth it, particularly gold-wise. You know, we're looking at about a 23 CS lead, a kill. He has worth 17, but an Ornn item is pretty strong.
So, yeah, an ornament's like roughly 1,000 gold of value.
Yeah, so that already is feeling not great on the side of the top lane. The jungle, yeah, we're looking at a 35 CS differential, plus 2 kills, plus, like, I mean, let's be honest, Kilroy's not been involved in this game. As you called it out, it's 2 items to 1. The only thing that Kilroy has going is he's got the boots, so he can get around the map a little bit quicker. So that is, you know, kind of a conundrum. Mid lane, 20 CS differential in the face of PFE, but there's a kill and an assist. We're kind of even on the items, and we'll go from there. So it's a tough one.
It looks like it was unpaused for a moment there, so hopefully it will go back to continuing the game here. We are just under 22 minutes, so with the client, hopefully should kind of work. we'll see what happens, but you continue just talking through. And there we go. Okay, so 22 minutes in, 3 dragons already taken. They are on Hextech Soul point right now. You know, a champion that really appreciates Hextech Soul, that would be Sivir.
That is the one, yes.
Yeah, who, you know, we don't have Static Shiv anymore, but she used to like that at them back in the day, and we have it in the form of the Hextech Soul. When she ults with On the Hunt, pop your W as well. Navori Quick Blades are completed, so you're just going to have a perma W up on this Sivir with a Hextech Soul helping her out there too. That is a disaster for PFE.
Yeah, PFE cannot give up this soul. There's no way. If they give up this soul, this Sivir is going to be absolutely out of control. Do not see a world where you give that up uncontested, and if you do, I imagine there'll be consequences, right? And those consequences are probably an absolute cracked Sivir. So the big thing here is, like, they're trying to get vision down once again. Dragon is just completely on the focus of CBR. That has been their big thing this whole game, and I have to respect it, right? Like, across the course of the whole set, CBR has not messed around with the best objective in the game.
Yep, Kilroy does go in, but immediately walks back out. And the magnetism pop. Peacemaker flashing forward as well. Call of the Forge God as well. This is a team fighting wet dream for the red side. Barak gets the kill onto the enemy jungler. Espada has to flash over the wall for safety. Old Man Genetics does not care. He is in his face, flashing to match to get the kill. Bivexual wants to walk away, but you are all on your lonesome victor. The rest of your team is dead as the dragon is about to spawn in 10 seconds. Nobody is there to help.
I've cast you for a long time, Joe, and I'm going to be honest, the phrase team fighting wet dream, while accurate, has made me a little uncomfortable. What is really making me uncomfortable is how much CBR are taking off this play. They are taking a dragon, they are taking turrets, they are taking lane priority in the bot lane as well. It is looking like a baby's arm holding an apple down there for those of us who love a good team fight. So, you know what? I gotta give credit to CBR. They came in as... I know. Funny,
those of us who love a good analogy too,
Yeah, well, but to be honest, CBR came in as this match as underdogs. This does not look 4-3 to me. This looks like 7-0, and you got to look on the side of PFE and be like, what are you guys going to bounce back with? Because this one to me is probably time to think about it a little bit. The vague team fighting comp of PFE has been absolutely battered by the full team fighting comp of CBR.
I just think so many of the champion picks have not worked out here. The Malphite has not worked. You picked it blind. You're not countering some AD heavy comp, right? Orianna, Amumu, like, they're not really killing. Core of the Forge God is used. Your quality is really low. Boomerang does not pick it up, but Old Man Genetics does eventually get the kill there, and he is going to go to try to walk forward. Kilroy walking away. Black Eyed Peas with the baited shots landing, and Barak popping off with the double kill. Two still alive on the side of PFE to try to defend the base, but they can try to just push this through. The turret is down. Take the inhib as well. It's 5-on-2. Malphite has completed his second item, so I don't think they can finish the game necessarily if they hold off long enough. There still is about 15 seconds before Measurable will spawn. They're going to chase Bivexual into the bot lane turret there, and now they finally walk away. They make the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, right? It's like you want to push down those towers, you want to try and end the game, but now we have to go European on this one, and there's only one option at this point. That option is some Dennis the Menace nonsense coming through there, because these guys should not be leaving their base. They should not be getting out of their base. They are 2-13 in this one. Espada, okay, there is the God teamfight ultimate, but you are 0-1-1. You engage on this team. If you do not land all of the big carries, actually, you need to land all 5 of them with the Malphite ult. Game over, baby, and that is going to be a big problem. So not only do they take your turret, they slip through, they took the Baron, and now it's going to be a fatty reset from the side of CB Rangers.
Almost a 10,000 gold lead, up 4 dragons. Like, yeah, we keep harping on giving up the souls for free, but also even just giving yourself 1 dragon of buffs or 2 dragons compared to the full sweep is a world of difference. If they had a couple of Hextechs stacked up just to get a little bit more staying power in the matchup compared to being just completely blindsided by CB Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, this is now 9-0 in Dragons. They haven't taken a Dragon in over 2 games, and they've literally just given them to the CB Rangers every time. So, yeah, Malphite got the objective bounty, but I don't know if that's enough, as it looks like we're going to have an engage in the middle lane, as Measurable is about to get absolutely shafted on the double kill from Old Man Genetics.
They killed him so quick, we didn't even see it. A double kill for Old Man Genetics. Pops the spell shield at the perfect time. Love to see that as a Sivir main, and On the Hunt was used for that. Kilroy has to just watch from his fountain. Ornn using the ultimate. They're going to go all in on Bivexual. Popped up and killed. And this is not what everyone was expecting. CB Rangers are 1 win away from moving on to the semifinals, but also sweeping the #1 team in the Divinity League.
PFE haven't had a foot in this game, in this set.
The series,
so far.
yeah.
Yeah, PFE have not stepped up and been able to really put up those numbers and say, you know what, guys, this is how we're going to play the game. We're going to run the show. This is what we're going to do. To be honest, CB Rangers have won 2 drafts. They've won 9 Dragons. And they deserve to be in this position. So for anyone doubting them coming through into this set, I think you guys have a lot to answer for. I know some people have been betting the channel points. They've been really going on the CB Rangers. But now, you know, Piltover's Finest Enforcers are being faced with a task. That task is, can you run a reverse sweep? And yeah, I don't know if they can, because that mental... You know, you've got no dragons, you've got no Rift Heralds. Oh, they stole one. Oh, no, they didn't even steal one. It got stolen from them. They got no Rift Heralds. What do you do in the early game? And that is the question that we now have to ask, of course, of PFE. You know, Espada been forced onto these awkward picks. Kilroy, this Sejuani, has made no impact. I mean, just looking at the numbers, looking at the damage numbers, sub 3,000 damage on a Sejuani. That's just not what you want to see coming through on this one. I mean, Bivexual is trying, Bivexual is pushing, but when Bivexual is nearly 2,000, nearly double over what the rest of the team are doing, you got to ask questions about the draft as well. So definitely a lot to think about in this one.
Yes, production, a little help on my side. I see the client. If I could see the stats, the end game, I would appreciate that, just to... So okay, got it. Actually, I'm kind of crazy. I can see it now. I wasn't there. Okay, perfect for me now. I appreciate the help. The only thing I can think of is Bivexual had the great game 1, the early game of it, and then he was kind of okay on his own on Victor. It's not like Bivexual was in any case of why they lost this, right? Just Victor was kind of doing his job, and the rest of the Rift kind of collapsed around him. In adjustment for game 3, Daz, we can, look, but right before we go to break, is I think you got to get something more mid lane focused. If the Sejuani is a must out of Kilroy, he's like, I want Sedge no matter what, then pair it with something that would appreciate that jungle ganking in mid a little bit more and getting Bivexual ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to be going to the mid lane early. You got to be playing around these lanes, but that doesn't seem to be the way that, Piltover's Finest Enforcers have been doing it. So, yeah, I think the big thing here is let's let the teams take a moment. PFE are being faced with the opportunity to do a full run back, 3 games in a row required from them. But I am expecting some big changes. I would like to see a very different draft.
Well, we're going to need it, because if not, this could potentially be the sweep that nobody saw coming for CB Rangers. So we're going to head to break, and when we come back, will PF Enforcers be able to keep this series alive, or will CB Rangers call it an early night with the 3-0 victory? We will find out when we come back right here on Titan Esports. All right, everybody. We are getting into game 3 here. PF Enforcers are down 2-0 to CB Rangers. CB Rangers were the heavy underdogs going into this game, Daz, and saw a lot of chit-chat back and forth in the Discord about, Barack and others saying, like, we had to come out and prove to everybody that we are one of the best teams in the Divinity League.
I mean, the chat, and I'm a good mate, I'm not probably the best of this, but the chat has been spicy between games, to say the least. I think CB Rangers buoyed by that, early 2-0 lead, feeling pretty good. And you got to ask questions, right? Like, if you're the PF Enforcers, you're up against it. You were coming in as the undefeated, right? You didn't know kind of what you were playing against. We have got an early pivot, which I do want to just address right now. Warwick, and I am going to say Warwick because that is a town in the UK, and I'm not saying Warwick. This is silly, and I will say Warwick till the end of this game.
Well, too bad the town in the UK is not playing League of Legends.
It's Warwick, but it's Warwick and Rakan coming through for PFE, so a lot more aggro than this kind of like Sejuani and a sort of helpful support. PFE looking to bounce back in this one, but they're going into Amumu, Misfortune, and I got to imagine you pick the support here, right? Like you just go Amumu, you don't even bother with this nonsense of like, oh, okay, well I'll show you, Misfortune coming right through.
Well, that was the first. That was the first question. I was going to say that I thought the Amumu would be support this time around because of the intrinsic synergy that MF and Amumu have shown in League of Legends. They're kind of picked together very often in professional play. The question I had before they locked in Misfortune was, do you pick the Xayah away from Rakan? And that would be what I would have expected them to take. They don't even take Xayah right now. Instead, they're going to pick Syndra, which is still a better option, right, for Bivexual, because the Syndra can be much more, of a powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, the Syndra keeps getting banned out, right? So, like, it makes sense. It's like, okay, well, if you're not getting the results you want out of the side of Jaquale, why give him the early pick, right? So just let him play whatever, go from there. But, it's kind of like a trade, right? You gave over Syndra, but you got Trundle, which on the side of Black Eyed Peas has been one of Black Eyed Peas' best champions this year, with a 64% win rate in ranked as well. So kind of feeling nasty. I'm gonna be honest, Trundle just feels like a really, really good jungler right now. We've got a lot more aggro out the jungle. We've kind of dropped these tanks. We dropped the Amumu, dropped the Sedge, dropped the Zac, and now we're going all out offensive. So PFE, need to play quick, need to play fast. They can't be giving up dragons. Warwick is going to give the side of PFE a much better chance at getting these objectives. It is one of the best early dragon takers, but I still feel like, CBR are getting kind of everything they want, right? Like, they're getting, another team fight comp. Amumu goes in, Trundle catches somebody out with a pillar to make sure that they're in the Amumu ult, and then Misfortune makes it rain over the top of them. So, it's definitely looking tricky on this side.
And the Xayah does not get banned in the second phase. Instead, it is Olaf and Fiora. You'd presume that's Olaf top as the ban there. You don't think this Warwick is a flex. Vayne being hovered, and Vayne is locked in next to Rakan. So, not the expectation we would have had when you see Rakan taking that early without Xayah being banned. I know she got nerfed recently, but she's still very strong in my opinion. Like, I play a lot of Xayah and I still think she works, but I'm not sure how this Vayne is gonna work into the other side, but we'll find out.
I mean, my big question for PFE right now, we've liked to see them play around kind of like objectives and group up and do some fun. Where's the team fight? And that is where I think, once again, CBR, now their draft is complete, have a phenomenal team fight. They're going Ornn, they're going Misfortune, they're going Amumu, a little Trundle for the pick, LeBlanc for the pick as well, but also catching somebody on the side, and PFE going in with that Gwen as the last pick. Gwen into Ornn, yes, it is a good pick, but I don't think we've seen enough out of PFE to justify this like winning top lane. Yes, the Gwen could win the lane, which I think, maybe I'd have dropped that Fiora ban for the Gwen, but if you're picking an Ornn, you know how good the Ornn was going. that is where we really want to see it. So this is all out from PFE. My big concern, and I'm a simple man, Joe. I'm a simple man. You know what I love? I love a good front to back team fight. Honest.
I was gonna say the same thing.
We gather in the river. We get to, we front to back it. But what is? Yes, Gwen has the percentage health damage. Vayne has the percentage health damage. Warwick has it too once you build the Bork as well, which is something I'm very interested in. But at the end of the day, it's like if you don't get close enough and Ornn just throws down the Ornn horn over you, yeah, it's going to be a problem. I see somebody asking in the chat, actually, why did PFE not take Xayah? That's a very good question, but looking at measurable stats, I don't see Xayah anywhere in the top of those numbers. So it's kind of a weird pick, right? Like Rakan comes through, which is obviously a very, very strong pick with a good win percentage from Jaquale, but you're not able to immediately dive in to the side of, that power pairing. So it feels like an interesting dynamic between the two. But once again, I mean, I'm going to call it, Joe. I'm a brave man. This was like a desperation draft from PF's Enforcers. The CB Rangers kind of got another team fighter, and look what they've done with those team fighters. I think Warwick is a very good adaptation, but Trundle can take dragons just as quickly.
I don't know. I think this draft is kind of all over the place, and I guess we kind of have the time here. We can talk, Daz. I think the Warwick, sure, you want to adjust, but I agree with you that it kind of reeks of desperation how this draft went around. It's like, fine, you don't want me on a tank, it's not working on Sejuani, I'm going to play Warwick and I'm going to carry the game. Oh, I'm going to feel comfortable on Rakan. I'm going to be comfortable on the Syndra and not take the obvious pairing, as well as, sure, you don't have Xayah. Kai'Sa Rakan has very strong synergy together and are picked very consistently together in pro play. And you saw he played Kai'Sa last game, had some solid moments as well, like obviously didn't win the lane. Excuse me, but like that could have been an option, but the Syndra would have been taken away. The thing that makes me concerned for it is the Vayne lock-in is a I'll show you kind of pick, as is the Gwen for Espada, right? Espada came in as one of the best top laners in the league, had a great KDA, 11th in the entire league in CS per minute. So Espada could be trying to have a little bit of a redemption arc in this match. And it is also tough, Daz, because they couldn't really take pure tanks in the top lane or support or whatever once that Trundle got locked in, gonna get punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing about the Trundle, right? Is like you can't take these traditional front lines, but you've still got the Warwick, right? Which like has to come forward and has to kind of fight through these things. And as soon as Warwick gets caught with that Trundle ult, it's game over. So I think PF Enforcers have gone with what I like to call a tilt draft. Where they are showing that they feel like their back is up against the wall, and all of the players, everyone on that team wants to prove that they can win the game for PFE.
Yeah, and that's kind of an unfortunate position to be in, because if everybody wants to be the hero, then there will be no unsung heroes, right? There will be no supportive people that are just facilitating for everybody else. Like, who is the person that sets up? Sure, Rakan with his ultimate, right? He charms everybody, but it really is kind of everybody else trying to 1v9 on their own when they should be coming together as a team, as they are one game away from being knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a tough one to do on the matchup, and I've been there, right? Like we've clashed together, and you feel bad, and you think, you know what? Like I'm gonna 1v9, but if all of them are trying to 1v9, this could turn very sour very, very quickly.
Well, let's see what happens, as we are going to hit a quick break before Game 3 starts between CB Rangers and Piltover's Finest Enforcers. It's been a different draft in Game 3. Let's see if it works out for them. All right, everybody, here we are at our first elimination game, potentially, of the playoffs. CB Rangers are up 2-0 over the number 1 seed PF Enforcers. Zemanon and Dodds on the call for this game. Everybody walking together into a spot of the ward is placed. Was he not looking? Was he in the shop? Espada is dead.
No.
First blood 45 seconds into the game.
I mean, Espada may or may not have shown a little bit of tilt between games, and I do think that is a phenomenal play from the side of CB Rangers to lean into that, right? And just say, you know what? If you're tilted, we're going to play to that, and we're going to come to your lane, and we are going to kill you. We're going to get the freest kill that we can take in the game, and yeah, we're going to just tilt this Gwen off the face of the earth. The kill also goes to Trundle. Black Eyed Peas on the Trundle is going to be a threat. And what I was looking at, actually, between games, Kilroy does play a lot of Warwick, has a lot of games on this champion, does seem to know what's going on here. But if you're falling behind your opposition jungler, that is not feeling good. So already Black Eyed Peas is up. Black Eyed Peas has been doing well.
Hold on. Let's ignore the Warwick. Okay, Kilroy, fine. He likes the Warwick. Is this game just over? First blood that early? Rakan has Cleanse, Ignite, Electrocute.
Maybe. Old Man Genetics is
the cleanse kind of helps him there, but not enough. Peacemaker gonna go flash Q from Old Man Genetics, getting the kill. Jaquale goes down. Kilroy is in the area to try to counter gank here. No, Kilroy, a double kill for Old Man Genetics. Can he make it a triple? Flash forward from Black Eyed Peas, but he's not going to finish off Measurable. Is it over 2 minutes in?
Could be lads.
That was a tier start MF, by the way. Tier start MF got that double kill. No power.
Yeah, that is what I call a tilt. That is
yes.
I mean, the big thing is Measurable got the kill, right? Like that is the redeeming factor here. But you gotta imagine it's not looking good if you were the side of PFE. They have absolutely been taken for a ride on this one. There is a little bit of a respite for them. Kilroy has obviously come back on the map and is able to start invading on that blue, but at the end of the day, that's still a 1-0-1 Trundle, who is feeling pretty good, still up on those jungle camps. And once again, Kramer's on the Ornn. Kramer's going to make sure that the team is powered up and ready to do this, as it is going to be a tough old lane for the side of Measurable and Jaquale. They are getting poked around a lot. Old Man Genetics, a really nice bounce there onto that. Kilroy is the only early game threat, and yeah, Kilroy's been spotted.
Yeah, you're going to have a fight
that is going to be
between
nasty.
Kilroy and Black Eyed Peas as they are going at it both really low. Kilroy actually gets the kill. Black Eyed Peas is dead, but Barak is in the area for the root. Ornn with the moral support lets Barak get the kill there, and LeBlanc given the early kill, which is obviously going to work out well for Barak's chances in mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, champions I don't like giving early kills to. Kassadin is probably number 1. I'm thinking mid lane only, right? But
LeBlanc might be
number
2.
1. LeBlanc is probably number 2, because it's like, this is going to get absolutely nasty. Kramer and Espada just trading off really nastily here. But I mean, yeah, Jaquale's going in. What's he going to do? I mean, he's just going to get caught by all of these spells, and that trade is cleanly lost by the side of PFE. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this team composition. Espada is also TP Ghost, which is somewhat understandable. Maybe you'd expect in the olden days to be TP Ignite compared, maybe, but the Gwen or the Ghost can work out there. I'm still just befuddled by Jaquale's summoner choice and everything. But Kilroy's in the area of 3 members of the opposing team and gets killed. Bivexual can do nothing. You gotta feel for Bivexual when everything's imploding around him and there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, Bivexual is, doing what he can in the lane, right? Is sindering the lane, getting the farm, keeping it safe, but every time it's like they're about even. They're fighting in the middle of this river, and, that's twice now that Kilroy's been caught out. I mean, I think the first one is kind of fine, but, the last 2 deaths are just silly. And that is just pushing up in a river. Once again, you got no vision. All right, Kilroy's coming. Peacemaker is alone, so this could be a kill, but Peacemaker does have the flash, so yeah, he's able to get away from that, and as soon as he gets away from that, that's Kilroy wasting more time. That time is now very valuable. You know, you're even on the camps, I guess, when you're looking up against the Trundle, but the Trundle is able to just get back on the map, start clearing those camps, and causing those problems. The only thing I can see for PFE right here is being able to be like, you know what, we can go take that dragon early doors, but once again, you gotta worry, Baroque is already looking to that bot side of the river, so being able to get in that river, maybe clear out that ward a little bit as well, and now you've taken too long. Here comes Old Man Genetics, and Measurable is kind of stuck in this one. Jaquali is able to help.
The pillar stopping Measurable. He's trying to get away, but he's slowed. He's been exhausted as well. Lets the auto go for MF. Great job by the jungler to let his carry finish off that kill. Now you're not going to have your ADC for this dragon. I was going to say, Daz, sure, they can want to take the dragon, but it's not really in their MO today to really attempt to take any dragon. So this first one is going to go over to CB Rangers yet again.
Yeah, I mean, we're now 9-0 on dragons in the course of the set, so why not make it double digits, right? And you've got two junglers who are able to take this down very quickly. There's, of course, going to be smited away by Black Eyed Peas, but this game is getting horrendously out of hand for the side of PFE. They came
Look at the
in
bot
7-0.
CS does. Vayne literally can't farm.
Yeah, I mean, let's do the rundown, Joe. We love to do the rundown here on the Divinity League. It is going to be a slight CS lead for the Gwen in the top lane, but there's an assist, so it kind of balances out. It is going to be a big CS lead on the side of the jungle, but once again, the kills kind of balance that one out. Mid lane, dead even, but the kill going to Baroque once again. Yeah, I mean, the bot lane is a concern. I don't know how else to phrase it. Old Man Genetics not only is up 2 extra kills, but is also up nearly 25 CS pretty consistently in this one. Able to land some really good double ups as well on this Misfortune. Something that, you know, I'm obviously interested to see. And okay,
Kilroy's in the area. Can they kill Measurable before? The ultimate gets stopped. No bullet time going to be used here. Warwick Wolf chase down Old Man Genetics, but he's trying to get away. What? He doesn't have any double tap, so he's not going to get to do more damage. He gets the kill there, but does not follow up. Oh, and the shutdown going over to Warwick. Black Eyed Peas is going to kill Jaquali in response there, punishing him for killing his ADC, and Kilroy walking in the face of this full health Trundle for absolutely no reason.
You cannot engage on the Trundle like that. That is silly. You were at a 2 for 2, you were in a good position, and you gave another kill to Black Eyed Peas, who is just going to be able to keep this one up. Black Eyed Peas, 4-1-3. Old Man Genetics, 4-1-2. Yes, Old Man Genetics died, but it's another kill, and it's more time that Measurable is not spending in lane. Yes, Black Eyed Peas has to run away a little bit to deal with this, but, you know, the top lane isn't where you get in the win here, right? Espada is not getting the win here at all, and this is getting worse and worse. The longer this game takes, you've already seen that the the kind of sphere is down from Gwen, so Kramer can just pop the ult, force Gwen to play a little bit defensive, and keep on going that way. So Black Eyed Peas still in the bot lane, maybe waiting for the arrival of Peacemaker, and let's see how this one goes. There's so many slows. This is disgusting.
Bandage toss didn't hit though. Measurable thought they could get out, but nope, they gave Amumu a second bandage toss for a reason. Now Jaquele is going to die. That's 2 more kills handed over. 5 kills apiece for Trundle and Misfortune.
This is silly. I mean, Kilroy's now in the top lane, looking at that Rift Herald, but that Rift Herald is only valuable if you're getting more plates out of it than your opponent's getting from that. And this bot lane are bullies from the side of CB Rangers. They are causing so many problems. Kilroy wants to go for the Rift Herald. It would be great, right? But at the same time, you got to do something about this bot lane, and that is where the real issue is coming. Once again, though, CB Rangers, they've already taken it to 2 plates. This is preposterous.
They are just going to keep pushing. Black Eyed Peas will stay in the area, clearing out that jungle, and also keeping his but also keeping his bot lane safe from a potential gank. The Warwick is actually in mid lane though, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And this 5-1 MF, who already has Eclipse completed 10 minutes into the game, 200 stacks on the tier as well. Like, lethality MF isn't even as strong these days as the crit version, but he's still, when you're this fed, it doesn't matter.
They know where Kilroy is, too. So why do they need to leave? That's now 4 plates. A quick ultimate from the side of Old Man Genetics. Measurable is not able to play this game right now.
No, he had nothing. He had no flash, no exhaust, no nothing. He just had to eat all of those bullets right to the face and gets punished, has to recall back to base. And that will give up the first turret of the game if this Rift Herald, or the Rift Herald's not going to be able to get the turret there. So blue side does get the first turret gold.
Yeah, I mean, blue side still gets the first turret gold. Kramer's still fighting this 2v1 too and not looking too scared by it. So yeah, they picked up some plates, but the gold is completely in the favor. Now, 3,500 gold in the favor of the side of the CB Rangers. Espada taking some lumps as well for getting under that turret. Peacemaker's just sat in this bush. Peacemaker doesn't care. And Barak is coming too.
Kilroy thinks he's doing something. He's like, look at me, I'm going to steal blue.
No!
Absolutely not. Kilroy gets killed. Barak gets his second kill of the game, taking that blue buff as well. You know,
is that
Kilroy,
what we call a buff exchange? Like, Barak just waited, was like, oh, you smited the blue buff away? Sweet, I'll take that from you.
Almost at the least. Amumu actually almost got it because it lived on 2. So if Amumu autoed the blue buff, he could have taken it there. But Black Eyed Peas with the flash forward, and Jaquale has to try to get away here. This is not a fight you can win. The ult was popped just for safety, and Measurable is going to have no mana, so not be able to fight this that much anyway. Even if they wanted to, would not be a great decision.
Yeah, we're pushing a 4,000 gold lead. Black Eyed Peas is a little bit pushed up, but Peacemaker's finally coming back. That is going to be the Warwick ult, but if one of these banded tosses can hit, this could take a nasty turn.
Yep, it's 3-on-1. Peacemaker's by himself. Make it 4-on-2. Barak gets stunned, so he can't help out right away. Peacemaker is by himself. Bullet time is in the area, but he cannot finish anybody off, just barely out of range. Measurable is a ticking time bomb and goes down, but finally the MF goes down as well. Shut down, handed over to the Syndra, which is obviously nice. Jaquale 1 hit away from being killed, but Barak cannot get there. He's walking right into the waiting arms of Barak, though. He goes forward and takes him down. 4-0-2 for Barak.
Barak is popping off in that fight. Yes, it was a little bit late, a little bit delayed, but if you're going to give kills to somebody, it's got to be the LeBlanc for me. That is a crazy champion to be handing kills over to. Bivexual is also a half health. Barak's a little bit below, I'd say, but, you know, okay, what is Kilroy going to do here? Just trying to come in. This is going to be the...
Bro, what on
silly.
Earth? Okay,
Silly.
Barak, a little too much. First of all, Barak was talking a lot of smack between game 2 and 3 in the group chat, so he was feeling confident, feeling a little too confident with that play.
That is silly from Barak. I have to be honest. I cannot endorse behavior like that.
I think a play like that could cost him player of the series, Daz.
Yeah, I mean, it could. I mean, Peacemaker's going in, clearing out the wards. Now we're coming up. Are you going to concede the dragon? If you are CB Rangers, are you going to admit that you messed up and you now have to concede this dragon? Because Bivexual is still getting on the map. Of course, Old Man Genetics is coming back. It is very close to the bullet time. But, you know, you've got to find one of these picks early doors because you are now down a man. So, Jaquale getting picked off is going to be a bit of a problem. Let's see, you know, these wards are getting cleared out rather nicely by Black Eyed Peas, though, and this goes back to kind of the motif of the series, right? You know, it's a win on the vision. Top lane, it's a win jungle, it's a win mid, it's a slight loss, ABC, but then another fat win from Peacemaker in the support role. So, yeah, they're going to keep seeing this, and once again, as soon as they walk in the river, CB Rangers just take dragons.
It's like they got there. They're like, we recognize we should be at the dragon. And then they see CB Rangers walking. They're like, okay, never mind, let's walk out. Instead of actually engaging as a group. And their champions really aren't able to do that. Kramer has to pop his ult and flash just to get away from Espada, but the Ghost will let Gwen walk forward. She did have the needle stacked up fully, but the Q missed, and Ornn gets to live to see another day.
Yeah, Ornn gets to live, and Ornn also has teleport. So now, you know, you look at the quick rotation to the top side from the side of CB Rangers. They're throwing it all at it. Espada hasn't been warding well, and Espada could quite quickly get caught here. There is going to be the pillar. Gwen is immune, but as soon as
but not for long.
Through,
yeah,
it's done.
Espada is dead. Black Eyed Peas with the 6th kill of the game, and that was the lack of vision coming to haunt Espada in this game yet again. The first 2 games, he lost the Vision Score battle against Krama as well, and this time around, even though it's even, it is not, he didn't have a ward there to think, hey, maybe if I'm pushing up and I don't see everyone else on the rest of the map, maybe they're coming my way.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. That is silly from the side of Espada. This is Bivexual being caught, and this is also being Peacemaker being caught, but does have the ultimate, is able to get away a little bit. Bivexual is burning down. Old Man Genetics has got that one. Peacemaker looking like he might get out. This is getting so close to Quali burning down from the turret. Peacemaker not able to hold on, but now the big focus is like, can you still take the Rift Herald, which has been the only respite for the side of PFE in this game. That said, they're going to take a little bit of time to get it. You know, even with the Vayne has no real items. Black Eyed Peas is going to be able to catch up Kilroy, and Kramer is here, so this Rift Herald could turn around real quickly.
It's like what we just said at Dragon. They get to the objective, but once CB Rangers gets in the area, they have to back off. They cannot contest with this team composition. They're not able to group the way that CB Rangers are effectively. So Vayne trying her best, has a mythic at least completed. Krama with the forward, or going to E forward for the pop-up, but doesn't get anything out of it. And now CB Rangers are going to try to get the Rift. It is pretty low, but can Warwick steal it over the wall? He's going to go for it, and it doesn't get it, though. He is unstoppable. Gets back over. Yeah, he gets back over the wall with his ultimate there, but he does not steal the Rift.
Yeah, that defensive ult, though, is really bad, I think, for the side of that. Oh, I will say that is a big miss by Black Eyed Peas, but can the team clean up?
Yeah, Kilroy is down. Jaquale tries to dash over the wall, but to no avail. And this TP is right in their face, Espada. They can just punish you for stepping up that far. Bullet time is used to bring Measurable down to like 5% HP. Vivexual pass is flashing out to safety. Espada finally gets a kill, the first one on the board. And actually the Arcane, it looked like the Comet actually popped Measurable there for that kill.
Yeah, I mean, Barok here, though, is looking at Espada. Does need to just be in that realm. Oh, that is a misstep by Old Man Genetics.
A little too confident, like we said, just like with Barak. Old Man Genetics has been popping the bullet time a little early in some of the fights as well. Just a little too confident. I know you're feeling yourselves, but you got to maintain the composure and make the effective play still.
Yeah, I mean, Black Eyed Peas now is stood there, you know, wants to play this one out. There is the big issue that Kramer is actually the one with the Rift Herald. So Kramer is going to just drop this on the top side and should be able to finish this one off, which is another influx of gold for the side of CB Rangers. That is going to be really, really big. And now it's like, what do they play around? This is another fight. Barak is waiting over the wall.
Oh, look how much damage Barak just did. That was absolutely disgusting. Black Eyed Peas might have gotten the kill, but that was all the damage from Barak.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, the jungler is down and the dragon is up in 53 seconds. So the dragon is coming up. They're obviously going to group around this and be able to play this way. This is actually, the side of CB Rangers playing between the turrets. They are so confident. They are getting caught out, though.
Oh, nice engage. Nice engage from Jaquale. He doesn't get any kills because the follow-up isn't working too great from the Gwen. Finally, though, Gwen is able to kill Peacemaker. It is just the support. 5 of the team's deaths, I should say, are on this support, which you're definitely fine making that trade.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot of kills to put on a support, but I mean, the big thing here is like Black Eyed Peas still very much in the lead. I think Jaquale very low, so Jaquale needs to back, and Jaquale does not have the ult before this dragon. The one thing I will say is with 10 seconds to go, this is for the first time in this set, this is the first time that CB Rangers are not on the correct side of the map for this play. So this may be the dragon that they concede, but can they get enough out of it somewhere else on the map? I will say, apart from Kramer, they are all just collapsing on this side of the map. They may be a little bit too late, but can they punish them for taking it with something like time on the way out?
They got it. They say nobody takes dragons from us 11 times in a row. Nobody.
Crazy. But look at the way that the push has been coming from the side of CB Rangers. They've been just pushing it through, just really trying to work it. They've got those lanes going where they need to, and they could, you know, take a decent advantage off this dragon.
Yeah, you can try. Obviously, there are objective bounties as well. It is only a couple thousand gold differential right now. Bivexual is deleted by Old Man Genetics. Does not care about the turret because he's out of the aggro range, and Measurable is not having a great time against this Fed. Misfortune 9, 2, and 5, 40, almost 40 CS lead as well, and they are going to take the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the trade. Like, you get your first dragon of the series, but you've now got 5 people running down your mid lane turret. So this is about to get kind of nasty. Jaquale is gone.
Espada, you're right in the face of all the tanks, though. Sure, you killed the support again, but you're just trying to beat down 3 people at once, and that is not what Gwen, kind of like Jen, can do in this match. Barack flashes forward for Measurable, but he doesn't get the kill. Measurable gets to walk away under the safety of his turret.
Yeah, but that's 2 turrets basically off the back of that dragon play, right? That is now, you know, it's still a 5,000 gold lead for the side of CB Rangers. They are kind of messing around a little bit. I do think they need to tighten up the game. I think they're getting a little bit too confident in some of these plays. But, you know, that's kind of the way the drafts were going, right? Like, we wanted to see some of these big plays coming through, and that is feeling good. I mean, don't forget, they did most of that without Kramer, too. Just look where the numbers are. All right, Kramer's 1-0-6. That's Dace. 9, 3, and 9 on the side of this Trundle. 4, 1, and 9 on your LeBlanc. 10, 2, and 7 on your Misfortune, and a solid 12 assists on the side of your Amumu too. So Black Eyed Peas getting into it, but I don't know if this is a fight they want to take, because as soon as they group up, you know, also Black Eyed Peas can just go take the turret.
Yeah, just get rid of the turret. You don't take any more of that damage. Espada has used his immunity, so he will not have that later. Does shut down Trundle, however. They will not have their jungler for this fight. Jaquale is going, yep. Krema had to flash there because Jaquale could have followed up, and then Measurable would have just shredded that tank. So trading away your flash. Oh, they can try to take the second, or they're going to start the Baron, actually?
I don't love this. This has got to be a very perfectly executed. Oh! They got rid of the side of, they got the MF.
No, MF is down. Krama is about to die as well. Can Kilroy get the Baron? No, he dies first. Measurable just barely hanging on as he kills Peacemaker. The 7th death of the game. Espada killed Krama as well. They did get 3 kills there for 1. And Old Man Genetics just absolutely caught out of position against a Syndra. Literally the worst possible place.
Yeah, they turned really nicely on that one. They are still down 2,500 gold, nearly 3 to be honest. But, you know, that fight was just a little bit scrappy. I think the board positioning from the side of CB Rangers just wasn't there. They didn't expect what I would honestly call the desperation Baron, right? Like, that is a very desperate Baron to see out the side of PFE. You know, they went for it. They didn't really have enough time to take it, but they did turn it very nicely. So I do think the CB Rangers took the bait a little bit there, and now they have to figure it out. But CB Rangers look like they're grouping back up. Of course, the Dragon is up in 1:22, so we know how they play. You know, Burrock is able to get this kind of healing, getting going again. Peacemaker didn't get involved enough in that fight for somebody rocking the Amumu, right? The Amumu needs to get the team fight going on. But as soon as Peacemaker gets involved, things are going to change. So as soon as one of these people are caught out, honestly, Espada's Gwen could get caught out quite nastily here, as it looks like the Trundle of Black Eyed Peas is running up the river, has decided to turn around. But for once, I got to give them credit, PFE have much better vision around this objective.
But Dots, look at the bot lane right now. The difference, it's 3 items to, as I say, Vayne recalls to finish the Rage Blade to make it 2. Would have looked worse when it was 3 to 1.5 items.
Kilroy's
but anyway, that is the difference. Kilroy, they know he's there. They have the vision. They see, and Warwick can obviously get over the wall. 3,000 HP left on the Baron. What are they going to do? Baraki's going to try to stop him. He goes over the wall, but way too late. The blue team slays the Baron, and they slay the Warwick as well. Old Man Genetic picks up that kill. Now you have 3 in the mid lane, but they can try to push together with this Baron buff.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to push out the mid lane a little bit with the Baron. Black Eyed Peas is looking healthy. Everyone's looking healthy. They haven't expended any ultimates either. There is all 5 ultimates up on the side of CB Rangers. So they're able to play this team fight exactly how they want. Black Eyed Peas dropping the pillar, trying to get this catch on Jaquale. Has pinned Bivexual, but not able to capitalize on that because of
the Syndra!
Bivexual with a huge stun.
Oh, so much damage, but not enough. Old Man Genetics 6 with a fantastic bullet time. Amumu dies like he always does, but gets so much effort in the match that it doesn't matter. Bivexual goes down as well, and what do you know? They're right by the dragon to pick up another one.
Yeah, fool me once, it's on me. Fool me twice. Nah, they're not giving up 2 dragons in a row. It's a triple kill for the side of Old Man Genetics. Yes, there is the blood scent going for the Weedwick, but he's not able to get all the way there. So Kilroy just given a blue buff. What would you rather have, Joe? Would it be the Chemtech Soul, Chemtech Dragon, or a blue buff?
I mean, it is Warwick. He's pretty selfish, so he'll want anything that benefits him in this fight. But it's not going to work against Black Eyed Peas. The flash forward, the kill. Black Eyed Peas his 10th kill of the game. What is Kilroy doing?
Yeah, Kilroy being silly there. Yes, I know the temptation's going.
He's
for the big
4 and 11, Daz. Is this
there.
solo queue?
It's looking like my solo queue, I'll tell you that. But the 2 lanes being pushed in fantastically by the CV Rangers doesn't feel like there's a good answer there. The one thing I will say is Black Eyed Peas does not have access to the ult, but the longer Espada sits here just eating minions is less time that Espada is clearing waves in the mid lane. This is a really nice 2-lane push from the side of CV Rangers. They're pushing in both at the same time, right? And like, there's a lot of time.
Oh, there's a bullet time. Gwen is dead. They went at the right time because they knew Gwen's immunity was down. That cooldown was used about 10 seconds earlier. So once you pop the bullet time, she cannot get out there. They're going to go after this turret. Jaquale just has to walk away and give this up. Call the Forge Gun is used to pop up Jaquale and kill him. 16th kill of the game for Old Man Genetics. An absolutely masterful performance on the Misfortune here in this game 3. Bivexual is going to try to keep them alive. If you can keep killing Peacemaker if you stun him, but he's not the one that matters. It's the Fed Trundle, the Fed LeBlanc, the Fed MF that are important. Kilroy is going to get killed. Bivexual's rooted, but she does get the responding kill. Vayne is dead, and they're going to take that last tower. They're going to take the Nexus, and March Madness is officially upon us here in the Titan Esports. They don't finish it off, but we all know what is going to happen. We are going to see a gigantic upset here in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we 5-man top here, right? We just 5-man top for a little bit, wait for the objective to come up and come through. No defense was good enough there from the side of PFE. They were not able to put together this like synchronized engage and push and defense, so just send all 5 top. I mean, just look at what you have available on your side as well. You got all the ultimates once again. Just send them top. They will end that game for you. Maybe a little courtesy push in the side of the mid lane as well, but Kramer's going to be able to sit up there for a little bit. They, as we've seen all series from CB Rangers, they actually have the macro just way better than PFE. And PFE coming in from a different group, that's kind of how we match them up, but they've kind of been exposed right here. Like 7-0 look great on paper, but CB Rangers have said no, that is not acceptable, and we will be taking this series off you. All we need to see, I mean, just looking at the timers, the Baron's got a little way to go, a couple of minutes on that, couple of minutes on the Dragon, a couple of minutes on all the buffs. I think it's 5-man top. If the Gwen doesn't get out here, which she's not going to, this is going to make the end much easier. As yet, we've already seen the the stun. It's 4v5, and 2 of your inhibs are down. So let's see how quickly CB Rangers can end this game.
Espada has not been properly using the immunity that Gwen has, and credit to CB Rangers, they have been punishing every single time the W is popped. Now you know that cooldown is not available, that ability is not available, I should say, and Call the Forge God cannot be blocked once the W is down. Flash bandage toss into the ultimate as well. Measurable is not having a great time. Old Man Genetics actually gets killed first before anybody else. Did they push a little bit too hard? Barak is killed as well. Kilroy is going to try to stop this, but no, he will be killed in response. Double kill for Grandma being offensive. Triple kill. Vayne back into the game with 3 more kills and saving it for PFE.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Measurable is like the only one keeping that team alive there and has managed to defend that top in him. But the big thing here is, like, let's look at the timers once again. It's 45 seconds to the Dragon, and most of the side of CB Rangers are going to be up for it. So I think now they've learned their lesson. They slipped up there, but okay, let's get back on the map. Let's group up for the dragon, and let's make sure that we don't let that happen again. Measurable did not land the ultimate. Oh, sorry. Black Eyed Peas, was not able to land it. Peacemaker wasn't able to land the ultimate onto that side of the map, but everyone is coming back up for the side of CB Rangers. If this game is going to go the distance, if they're going to keep this set alive, everything is unmeasurable, but I imagine CB Rangers have learned that lesson and are going to block that one. There's a TP to the mid lane from the side of Kramer. Let's get in that side. Measurable is getting caught here, as it's going to be the LeBlanc. Not able to do it there, but, that is already good damage down on Jaquale, who is a huge engage tool.
Yeah, already half HP, so if Jaquale does engage, he will be trading his life for that engage. Kilroy is in the area. Bullet time is used, but doesn't get any kills. Can it steal the blue buff? Yes, it actually does get it there. Kilroy over the wall, hops right into the arms of the enemy. The jungler is dead before the dragon fight even starts. Gwen is going to go down as well. Double kill for the support. Measurable is going to try, but you try all you want. I've seen Vayne's 1v9. I don't know if this is a scenario the Vayne can do it. Chemtech Soul is claimed for CB Rangers, and Measurable has to run away.
Yeah, not able to keep things going. That is an exhaust on Black Eyed Peas, but the damage is coming through from Oban Genetics as well. Measurable is shut down, and you have to imagine that now, with this additional help from the Dragon, they're just going to run it down mid and end it.
Yeah, 31 minutes into the game, taking a little bit longer than I would have anticipated considering how strong of an early game CB Rangers had. But there's one last chance. Warwick hops right into Black Eyed Peas and brings him down. Actually does get the kill there, his 7th kill of the game to match his 14 deaths. Kilroy, is he going to make it? Make it 15 as he dies again.
He's got a bullet time.
Bullet time!
They can just turn it back up mid.
That's another shutdown. That's 20 kills for Old Man Genetics in this game 3. Bivexual, their best performing player statistically, is down for the next 40 seconds. Measurable does respawn here, so they are going to recall it, but they're going to recall here. But I didn't think this game would take this long considering how it started, Daz.
They've got to end it. They just end it now before something silly happens. I do not understand why we are not ending it. I'm glad we took the inhib. We're going to go inhib. We're going to go Baron. We're going to end the game. Like, this is the way that CB Rangers need to deal with this. Everyone's running to that Baron. I think the ults are coming back up. I mean, Old Man Genetics is already getting right back up there as well. I mean, like, the ult is already about 75% done on the recall. Like, it's just going to be able to do that. Let's just see Kramer, Old Man Genetics end this one, and let's just shove it through top. Let's end the game with the Chemtech Dragon. I don't want to see nonsense. I don't want to see silliness. They've been in a great position all series, and I just want to see them end it as they deserve. So blue team has slain Baron Nashor. Don't want to see any recalls. You know how mad that makes me. And let's just go for it. Let's just catch Kilroy here and get this one over with. But they're split up in the jungle, and this is where they can get punished.
I have definitely been on Daz's Clash teams where we recall after Barons, and he is not a big fan of it, but I got a power spike, Daz. I'm sorry. I need to get my crit cloak, okay? Anyway, Bivexual is dead. Krama with the Call of the Forge God gets the kill there, and they are going to be able to push with the Baron, with the Chemtech Soul as well into the top lane. They see Warwick is actually pushing behind them, so don't want to separate from the group and get soloed down from Kilroy. He's in the area. Old Man Genetics right in his face. Kilroy, he saw him there, and now Old Man Genetics is dead. The shutdown goes over to Rakan, though. Krema's going to try to fight the two most important champions left, I would argue, on PFE's side are the Gwen and the Vayne, but the TP is used right into the Nexus. Can they do anything about it? Krema is still full health. Measurable is not going to like his measurements in this matchup. Espada walks back into the fountain, and in March we had Princeton beat Arizona, we had Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue, and an even bigger upset, we have CB Rangers beating Piltover's Finest Enforcers 3-0.
That is a match that I have seen, and I think Piltover's Finest Enforcers came in. Yes, they were in different groups, different sides of the bracket, but that is an interesting one. I think a lot of people are saying that, CB Rangers had a much tougher series. They had a much tougher time coming into this game. I know Barak is being quite...
He's popping off right now.
He's being quite vocal about it, which I respect. I think Barak, his stats speak for himself. But, still, 4-3 versus 7-0. on the paper, the tail of the tape, Barack, is that you guys came in at an advantage. And all credit to you. You have been able to take it down 3-0. We were expecting at least a 3-1, maybe a 3-2 if we were feeling it. But your guys' confidence was not something I assessed before this match. It was not something I looked at. It was not something I can establish or put on a piece of paper. The tail of the tape is 7-0 versus 4-3. You guys have shown up, and you know what, CB Rangers? Now you're top. You're the top dog right now. And you got to live with that next week because, damn, did you boys put on a show today?
Yeah, it's everybody loves a good Cinderella story here. So if they can, as the 4th seed in their group, make it, obviously they're semifinals, make it to the finals, hell, even win the entire league would be really nice. Just looking at it's hard to even put into words when you look at the damage that this misfortune did with 20 kills. Old Man Genetics, these last 2 games specifically on Sivir and MF are just absolutely disgusting display of marksman, capability.
Yeah, I mean, CB Rangers, I put out the numbers. CB Barack is saying, you know what? We had some subs. The subs weren't what we wanted. But Old Man Genetics, when he's here, put some of the numbers every single game. We'll keep it short. We'll keep it brief. It is wins across the board, right? Gwen wasn't really involved. Even the ego pick from the side of PF Enforcers into the jungle didn't feel that solid, right? I think Warwick's really tough. Yes, you did finally get the Syndra, but LeBlanc got those kills, and yeah, it's looking good when we get the right AD carry for CB Rangers.
You got a feel for Bivexual. He was so good the entire season. One of the best mid laners in the Divinity League, and not just mid laners, statistically, one of the top 10 players in the league this season. And to have your team like that just kind of implode in front of everybody's eyes, a lack of synergy, a lack of communication, as one of the players was leaving the call for the in between games, and not communicating when you're picking the summoner choice and everything on how Rakan was played in this game. Like, just everything fell apart for what should have been the Titan of the Titan Esports League, the undefeated PFE.
Yeah, it was a crazy series, honestly. Like, I think the only way to really sum it up, and if you're joining us late, I apologize. I really do, because you missed a lot. You missed a lot going on tonight, but I think CB Rangers made a statement in the chat that I'd like to call out. They're saying they're 3-0ing their way through the bracket, so we're gonna have to follow up on that a little bit later.
We'll see what happens. I love the confidence, though. I love the confidence from Barack there and the rest of CBR that are feeling good going into the playoffs. That's when you want to see. It's kind of like 100 Thieves in the LCS, right? There 3 weeks ago, they were like number 9 in the league, and then at the end of the season, they finished 3rd. So it's not necessarily how you do over the whole season. It's how you feel going into the playoffs and how you perform there. Similar to EG last year in spring, or even TSM back in summer 2020. And maybe that could be the miracle run that the CB Rangers are feeling right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, a lot of people are talking about CB Rangers, that they've been stepping it up. So I think, a couple weeks off didn't really hurt them.
Yeah, and then we're looking, getting some updates from production on how some of the other matches have been going. Because remember, we do have all of our playoff games happening this week for the first round of playoffs. Right now, Eclipsing Ties is leading 2-1 in their series, and Off Dazah is actually up 2-0 over Team Ambition Crab Wranglers, Daz. And we've watched them a couple of times on stream this season, so that's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more games to play. Obviously, it's going to give us some great top 4 matches next week when we get into it. So I'm excited for those. But of course, people can hopefully check those out across the board on different people's channels for the rest of tonight's matches.
And before we have one last thing we have to do before we close out the show here, Daz. We have to give out our player of the series, and to me, I'll stick by my word. I think Barack's death under that turret cost it to way too much, so my player of the series now is Black Eyed Peas. Absolutely smurfed in the jungle, was at every object. When you're a jungler and you are like, what, 13-1 in dragons over the course of a series, you have to be player of the series.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me. I think honestly controlling the dragons, like I know Baroque is in the chat and is gonna say, you know, maybe have some words for it, but for me it's the top jungle duo together were really solid. I think Kramer and you know being able to play kind of anything thrown out, but for me it is Black Eyed Peas. I think Black Eyed Peas just the control of the dragon is too much. Baroque. I can see the comments right now. Kramer played some phenomenal games, but you know, I think
it was
Yawn
Black Eyed Peas.
solid.
The Zach was amazing, like right
Yep.
away. Like I think it was Black. I think Black Eyed Peas was obviously the last two games have been a great display out of Old Man Genetics. But when you're taking the entire series as a whole, all three games, I think we give it to Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, I agree. I think Black Eyed Peas did phenomenally. I think I think the whole team did great. I think they just came together as a team, which is great. You know, I think Black Eyed Peas just I don't know, like three different picks as well. I mean, playing you know really really well. I mean, the one thing that we can't obviously you know kind of pick up throughout this is who made the call to go top in game number 3. I think if
Yeah, when Gwen was just like picking her latest like you know Spotify playlist to have ready for the game, not in client, you know, just sitting in a bush getting murdered for first blood.
Chat is really mad at us, Joe. There's apparently top lane justice. You guys
No,
know
you
I'm a
played
top
Ornn
laner, right?
First of
You
all, I
guys
love
know I'm a
Ornn.
top laner.
I
Like,
love Ornn.
I play top all the time, and I do think that Kramer played so well. But I think the influence in game number 1, like game number 1 sets the tone, right? And I think that is Black Eyed Peas for me. So that's where my weight comes, right? Is like that Zach was phenomenal. Okay, I see this. There's the call for the Gwen invade from Black Eyed Peas.
Even more reason.
I'm done, Baroque. You lose this fight. You lose this fight, and you can DM me personally if you wish to deal with this.
Yeah, I think at that point, now that we know that Black Eyed Peas made the call to win the game 28 seconds in with the first blood, I think it's absolutely the call for it. But enough out of us for this week, guys. It's been a pleasure getting to cast this best of 5 with you. That only was 3 games because CB Rangers got the sweep. And let's see, does PF Enforcers for the next season make some changes? You know, these are the kind of losses that can facilitate changes to an organization. And does CB Rangers keep the excitement rolling on in the semifinals? We are going to raid another stream here. Raid over low budget LCS, so make sure everybody stay with us as we head on over to that next stream. But it's been an absolute pleasure to cast this match with y'all here in Titan Esports in the Divinity League. We will see you next week for the semifinals.